The layers of rust that once covered the earth cauldron had entirely fallen away, revealing a subtle yet undeniable luster. Its aura had transformed drastically, no longer decrepit or worn but now sacred and noble, as if it had been reborn. Senior. Long Chun gazed in awe at the changes in the earth cauldron and evil moon. Astonishment etched on his face. Looking at the earth cauldron, evil moon cursed. Who the fuck are you saying will become malevolent? Humph. I could never get as twisted as Long Chun. Long Chun was momentarily speechless. How had he suddenly become the subject of this accusation? Was he really that sinister? Shaking off Evil Moon's quip, Long Chun turned to the earth cauldron, his expression serious. Senior, I need to ask, what exactly happened in the Wind Domain battlefield? Was it all a dream? Or was it real? The earth cauldron answered calmly. Of course it was real. The blonde-furred little fellow had used a secret art of the Heaven Devil race. By concentrating their race's power, using the souls of the human race as a guide, and channeling it through the 8-trigram curse, he created a space-time bridge. This allowed him to extract energy from the primal chaos era in a vain attempt to awaken those golden wing heaven devils. I have to say it was a crazy idea. The odds of success for such a thing are abysmal, but he somehow succeeded. As for you, you charged straight into the death gate. I thought about warning you several times, but I held back because I felt like this was the workings of fate. If I interfered, it would not just invoke karmic repercussions but also negatively affect your future. Fortunately, I stayed my hand, or you wouldn't have been able to enter another spacetime. That act allowed the laws and aura of the primal chaos era to enter the primal chaos space, awakening the core energies of both Evil Moon and me. Additionally, your 8 stars have fully matured. In short, this was an incredible opportunity, said the earth cauldron. Senior. Why couldn't I sense you when I entered the ancient battlefield? I was almost dead back then, asked Long Chun. The earth cauldron sighed. We were separated by space-time. Neither of us has fully recovered, and we don't have the ability to transcend space-time to assist you. To be honest, that was really dangerous. If you had died there, it would have been the end. No second chances. A trace of fear could be heard in its voice. Being pulled into a space-time gate and then the primal chaos-era battlefield was truly beyond the earth cauldron's expectation. Long Chun hesitated before asking, Senior, I wasn't from that era, yet I killed life forms from it. Will that affect history? Crossing the boundaries of space-time meant that Long Chun had altered the past. Would those he killed have left descendants who now cease to exist? Or would their absence ripple through history in unpredictable ways? The weight of such karma was impossible to ignore. The earth cauldron replied, I cannot calculate the full extent of karma, but one thing is clear. By doing so, you've entangled yourself with the karma of the primal chaos era. When you attempt to break into the human emperor realm, your tribulation will be unimaginably severe. Clearly, the earth cauldron's powers were still limited in this regard. Before Long Chun could respond, Evil Moon interjected, You're overthinking it. The place you fought wasn't one of the main battlefields, and those people were just cannon fodder. Even if you hadn't killed them, someone else would have. War engulfed the 9 heavens and 10 lands during that era, and those cannon fodder had no chance of survival. The earth cauldron added, Evil Moon is correct. Based on your memories, that should be the case. Although my memories haven't fully recovered, if you had been on a main battlefield or encountered someone deeply tied to my karma, my memories would have been stirred. Long Chun felt a shiver down his spine. Those immensely powerful lifeforms he had fought with his life on the line were considered cannon fodder? If that was true, how terrifying must the true experts of the primal chaos era have been? With this reminder, Long Chun thought back to what had happened on the battlefield. Upon reflection, it became clear that the battle was chaotic, lacking any coordination or commanding figures. It was nothing more than an unorganized skirmish. This confirmed that the opponents he had faced were not the core experts on that battlefield. You can ignore it. You've gotten stronger, and so have I. As long as we join forces, we can definitely sweep through the 9 heavens and 10 lands in the future. Whatever troubles come, we'll crush them head-on, declared Evil Moon. Long Chen nodded. There was no point in worrying about these things. As long as he had enough power, there was nothing to be afraid of. The reason he had struggled on that battlefield was simple. He wasn't born in that era. If he had been, would those so-called enemies have even been qualified to fight him? Thinking of that, Long Chen felt like he had a different perspective now. After that, the Earth Cauldron told Long Chen that it needed to rest for a few days to get accustomed to its new energy. Meanwhile, Evil Moon was still smoking black qi, unable to stop it. As this black qi corroded space and damaged the laws of the world, the primal chaos space refused to let Evil Moon enter again. The black qi had no effect on Long Chen himself. Without hesitation, he retrieved the scabbard that Guoran had forged for him and secured Evil Moon on his back. Evil Moon's dark aura, paired with Long Chen's black robes, created a striking image. At this moment, Long Chen exuded a wild, domineering energy, like a death god emerging from hell, dangerous, powerful, and untouchably imposing. After a day of rest, Long Chen felt completely rejuvenated. His astral energy had revolved through countless cycles, restoring his body to its peak state. His violet blood, seven-color supreme blood, and dragon blood were in top condition, harmonized and ready for battle. Meanwhile, Lei Linger and Huolinger had also returned to their full strength, their energies radiating with renewed vigor. Without hesitation, Long Chen strode toward the spatial crack. The moment he entered, the crack seemed to devour him. Instantly, countless spatial blades lashed out, grinding against him with destructive force. Luckily, there was no need for Long Chen to do anything. His starry sky battle robe appeared automatically, blasting the spatial blades apart. The starry sky battle robe's defensive capabilities were astounding. The blades carried the destructive force of a full-strength attack from a 5-vein or 6-vein human emperor, yet Long Chen remained unaffected. He didn't even feel the impact as they struck the robe. Only when a particularly powerful spatial blade attacked did the starry sky battle robe quiver faintly. This small reaction was enough to assure Long Chen of its durability. It had grown immensely stronger, and with it so had his confidence. Dragon Domain, I'm coming. After enduring hours of relentless pressure from the chaotic spatial stream, Long Chen was finally ejected, flung out like a cannonball. Stabilizing himself mid-air, he immediately sensed something unusual. His dragon blood quivered faintly. The air was saturated with the aura of the dragon race. Yet, instead of feeling a sense of belonging, Long Chen was met with a wave of discomfort. The aura carried a revolting undertone, tainted by the unmistakable scent of dragon blood. Put them in their place for me. Cut off the rotten flesh. If the bones are decaying, carve them out. If it weren't for the fact that the dragon race has so little left, I'd expel all of these unfilial descendants. A deep, ancient voice resonated in Long Chen's mind. It was the voice of the primal chaos dragon sovereign. Long Chen hadn't heard it since his battle with the silver-haired Void Crusher, but stepping into the dragon domain seemed to have awakened it. Senior, Long Chen hesitated. He could feel the weight of the task being entrusted to him. But was it really appropriate for him, a human, to intervene in the affairs of the dragon race? Don't concern yourself with that, the dragon sovereign replied calmly. Act as you always do. I trust you. If you can't change them, then it's all right to kill them all. Long Chen jumped. Killing them all? Just how disappointed did this ancestor have to be in order to say such a thing? Long Chen had considered evading this responsibility. After all, he was a human. How could the proud dragon race let itself be commanded by a human? Let alone the prideful dragon race, even other races would resist such a thing with all their might. But then, after pondering for a bit, Long Chen decided to do it. After all, the primal chaos dragon sovereign had aided him many times without asking for anything in return. For him to reject its first request would be deeply disrespectful. Moreover, their relationship was akin to that of master and disciple. If the master gave an order, the disciple had to follow them. How could he possibly shirk this responsibility? I understand. Senior, rest easy. I will deal with this, replied Long Chen solemnly. I entrust everything to you. The dragon sovereign's voice echoed faintly before fading away. With that, the burden on Long Chen grew heavier. This wasn't a simple matter. It was critical to the survival and future of the dragon race. How could he not see the importance of this task? Leave it to me. Long Chen raised his hand to the sky, clenching his fist in a gesture of victory. No matter how difficult a problem was, there had to be a way to solve it. Long Chen had power, wits, his own special methods, and the ability to win people over, whether by acting noble or conning them with a petty little person's tricks. Recently, Long Chen had felt unstoppable, and this mission only heightened his sense of purpose. The more challenging something was, the more he wanted to do it. This wasn't just a request. It was a sacred duty entrusted to him by the Dragon Sovereign. He vowed to accomplish it no matter the difficulty. Otherwise, how else would he live up to the Dragon Sovereign's years of guidance? Closing his eyes, Long Chen attuned himself to the fluctuations of dragon blood in the air. The strongest concentration pointed him toward the heart of the dragon domain. With Dragonbone Evil Moon strapped to his back, he shot forward like a streak of black lightning, leaving a trail of dark smoke behind him. Evil Moon, can you do something about this smoke? Someone might think that my stomach has a big issue, Long Chen muttered, glancing back at the unsightly black trail. Don't rush, Evil Moon replied. The laws of primal chaos have reawakened my core energy, expelling the sealed forces within me. Once the process is complete, the smoke will cease. For now, bear with it. The black smoke exuding from Evil Moon had indeed lessened compared to before, now gushing out only from its central part, which just happened to be right next to Long Chen's butt. It was too easy for people to misunderstand, especially if he was running. Feeling helpless, Long Chen could only continue onward, though at a more relaxed pace. After all, he had entered the dragon domain and wanted to survey the situation first before making any bold moves. However, the further Long Chen ventured, the worse the sight became. The once proud land of the dragon race was barren and lifeless. Mountains stood desolate, with no vegetation in sight. He also saw dragon bones scattered throughout the land, half buried in the soil. As a prideful race, dragons typically chose to reside in places of enchanting natural beauty. Even the dragon domain in the outside world, which was destroyed by internal wars, didn't look like this. The dragon race revered their traditions and treated their own with utmost care. Even traders were rarely left to rot in the wilderness. Their remains were usually handled with respect. Yet here, scattered across the barren terrain, lay the decaying bodies of dragons. Long Chen's heart sank as he surveyed the grim sight. Could this be why the primal chaos dragon sovereign said that even killing all of them was no problem? It seemed that its descendants had failed at big time. As Long Chen pressed forward, the desolation worsened. More bodies littered the landscape, and the air grew thick with the metallic stench of dragon blood. The revulsion he felt earlier now made sense. It was the overwhelming presence of fresh dragon blood permeating the atmosphere. Soon, the bodies disappeared, replaced by massive bloodstains soaking the ground. Suddenly, explosive sounds and guttural dragon roars broke the stillness. Long Chen tensed, accelerating toward the commotion. The rumbling grew closer, and Long Chen quickly saw dozens of figures fighting. They were all young experts of the dragon race, all with Heaven Saint cultivation bases. Their strikes were merciless, each aimed to kill. This was no sparring match, it was a savage battle to the death. 3 dragon experts lay on the ground nearby, on their last breaths. Long Chen frowned as he approached. He didn't recognize which branches these 2 groups were from, but such infighting deep within the dragon domain was a glaring testament that it was truly in chaos. Without hesitation, Long Chen crouched beside the injured dragons, 2 men and 1 woman, and fed them each a medicinal pill. Their fading auras stabilized, and their grievous wounds started to mend. A human! Die! Just then, the experts from both sides noticed Long Chen and attacked him at the same time. What did you just say? I don't think I heard you clearly. Could you repeat that for me, please? Asked Long Chen, his tone polite. His domineeringness was nowhere to be seen, replaced by exaggerated humility and politeness. After all, this place was the dragon domain, and Long Chun had come with his own goals. He felt embarrassed acting too domineering here. Other than the 3 injured individuals from earlier, the rest were now kneeling before him, their faces battered and bruised. Some were missing limbs and none dared to move. Hearing Long Chen's humble words, they shuddered. The friendly smile on his face looked more like a devil's twisted grin, making their hair stand on end. Moments earlier, they had charged at him with full force, only to be pummeled to the ground before they even understood what had happened. Each of Long Chen's punches broke bones and left them writhing in pain. Long Chun had deliberately held back from killing them outright, but he ensured they suffered. His punches caused internal damage, leaving them in excruciating agony. When a few dared to curse at him, they were promptly silenced with slaps, while others lost limbs to his merciless strikes. Once their arrogance was thoroughly beaten out of them, a single shout from Long Chun had them on their knees, utterly terrified and obedient. "Hey, speak! Weren't you very arrogant just now?" Long Chun taunted, slapping one of the leaders so hard that he tumbled backward. Flames of fury burned in Long Chen's heart as he looked at the defeated dragon experts. For a race known for its pride and dignity, how could they kneel so easily? What happened to the dragon race's honor? If they had refused to kneel no matter what, Long Chun would have respected them a bit more. But now, he had the urge to kill them all to clean up the dragon race. The one with a swollen face bitterly spat out, "We were wrong. We shouldn't have offended you. We thought you were with those humans who came before." "What humans?" Long Chen asked. Long Chen's heart skipped a beat. He instantly suspected the Dragonblood Legion but feigned curiosity, asking eagerly. As he expected, the humans they mentioned were indeed the Dragonblood Legion. During the battle with the Silver-Hair Void Crusher, the Dragonblood Legion was sent away by the Earth Cauldron. Guided by the Dragon Sovereign, they crossed the endless desolation and arrived at the Heaven Essence World's dragon domain. At first, they were worried about Long Chun. However, the Dragon Sovereign secretly informed the White Dragon Race leader that Long Chun was safe, instructing him to keep it a secret. The White Dragon Race leader only hinted at this to Yu Zifeng and the others. Although he didn't say the details, Yu Zifeng and the others instantly understood, and they came with them here peacefully. On the way, they faced the attacks of countless devil creatures. Fortunately, the Dragonblood Legion's battle prowess was unmatched. While protecting the dragon race's experts, they managed to break through the endless desolation. However, when they arrived at this dragon domain, their excitement was extinguished. They couldn't believe what they saw. The chaos here was beyond imagination, 1,000 times worse than the dragon domain they knew. Infighting among the dragon race was rampant, and large-scale massacres were common. Back then, some aggressive dragons viewed the Dragonblood Legion as spies and sought to attack them. Fortunately, the White Dragon Race leader invoked a secret art to summon reinforcements. The Heaven Essence World's White Dragon Race responded immediately, rescuing them just as they were surrounded by countless dragon experts. They were escorted to the White Dragon Race's territory and questioned about their origins. Upon learning they had come from beyond the desolation, the Heaven Essence World's White Dragon Race leader felt both shame and helplessness. The chaos in the dragon domain stemmed from unending struggles for dominance, with no faction willing to submit to another. This ceaseless infighting, fueled by greed and pride, had persisted for countless years, gradually pushing the dragon race towards self-destruction. Although the White Dragon Race did not participate in these affairs, surviving in such a chaotic world without being drawn into conflict was impossible. So disheartened were the White Dragon Race by the state of the dragon domain that they had begun contemplating leaving entirely. To them, facing death in battle against the heaven devils in the outside world seemed better than perishing in the endless cycles of internal strife. The White Dragon Race readily accepted the Dragonblood Legion into their fold. Some dragons who had accompanied them had initially sought to reunite with their own branches of the dragon race. However, upon reaching the Heaven Essence World, they found their ancestral clans either untraceable or unwilling to help, leaving them no choice but to remain with the White Dragon Race. As a result, the Dragonblood Legion became an extremely special and sensitive topic. They were humans but possessed dragon blood, which was something countless members of the dragon race were unable to accept. As a result, many factions started applying pressure on the white dragon race, demanding them to hand over the Dragonblood Legion. Challenges from the so-called heavenly geniuses of the dragon race followed, aimed at humiliating and testing the newcomers. Unwilling to bow to such disrespect, the Dragonblood Legion met every challenge head-on. Their responses were swift and brutal. Many of these self-proclaimed geniuses were defeated or outright killed in just a few moves. Each loss struck a blow to the dragon race's pride, leaving the factions seething with indignation. This drew the attention of even more powerful figures. Fearing escalation, the White Dragon race leader had the Dragonblood Legion retreat into seclusion. While this avoided immediate conflict, it only increased the pressure on the White Dragon race, making them the focal point of all the dragon domain's frustrations. However, the White Dragon race refused to say a word, just bitterly enduring. Hearing this, Long Chen felt a surge of urgency. His brothers and sisters were waiting for him. Without wasting more time, he demanded a map from the defeated dragon experts. Before leaving, he kicked every one of them, including the injured three. "I'll spare you this time, but grow a brain before the next. Otherwise, you'll die without even knowing how it happened," advised Long Chen. It seemed these dragons had grown dumb from all the infighting. The three dragon experts Long Chen had saved could only stare as he left, not knowing whether to be grateful to or hate him. The beating they had all suffered at Long Chen's hands, however, extinguished the flames of hatred between the two opposing groups. They exchanged glances before silently parting ways, returning to their respective factions. Not long after, Long Chen encountered another group of dragon experts. Before they could react, he fixed them with a cold stare and warned, "If you don't want to get beaten up, stay away from Boss Long San. Human, get the hell out of the dragon domain. You ants are polluting the dragon domain's sacred energy," bellowed a heaven saint from the dragon race. Another sneered, "This fellow is definitely a companion of those cowards. Break his limbs and toss him in front of the white dragon race's territory. We'll see what kind of reaction we get from them. Just cut off his head. We'll kill the chicken to warn the monkeys. It can be a declaration of war against those fools," suggested the third idiot. Despite Long Chen's earlier warnings, the dragon experts were neither intimidated nor cautious. It only fueled their fury, and they encircled him. "Kneel!" one of them commanded as he stepped forward. Long Chen's palm slammed onto the expert's shoulder with devastating force. Though the dragon expert instinctively tried to resist, his knees buckled under the overwhelming power. Bone shattered audibly as he hit the ground, and the immense pain made him scream. "Kill him!" the others roared, charging forward. However, they were hopelessly outmatched. To Long Chen, these so-called experts were little more than overconfident fools. In a blur of motion, he had them all on their knees in moments. One attempted to flee but was caught mid-step. Long Chen grabbed him by the neck and hoisted him into the air like a rag doll. "What did you say just now? Cut off my head? Kill the chicken to warn the monkeys? That's not a bad idea," said Long Chen darkly. I. The dragon expert stammered, but it was too late. With a brutal twist, Long Chen wrenched the dragon's head from his body. It rolled across the ground, leaving the others stunned. "You!" These dragon experts had not expected Long Chen to dare to kill one of them in the dragon domain. Long Chen simply ignored them and continued onward. Very quickly, the disturbance drew even more dragon experts. The moment they saw Long Chen, they immediately attacked. In response, Long Chen blew apart a dragon expert with his punch, causing the bloody scent in the air to intensify. Long Chen didn't show them mercy. To fools, he was willing to give them a chance. But against those who attacked to kill right from the start, he showed no mercy. Enemy attack! A scream split the air, and more dragon experts gathered. With a single palm from Long Chen, hundreds of dragon experts were sent flying through the air, tumbling into the distance. With a cold tone, Long Chen declared, If you don't want to die, stay back. I'm here for your race leaders and ancestors. You think a mere human is qualified to meet our leaders? Our ancestors are beyond even our reach. Who do you think you are? The mocking dragon's words were cut short as Long Chen's bone spear pierced through his chest. In a blur, Long Chen materialized before him, his expression dark. Is this enough qualifications? Long Chen's voice was calm yet deadly. This dragon expert didn't have time to respond before his body exploded into pieces. Chaos erupted among the remaining experts, who quickly fell back. After all, the one who had been slain was one of their strongest experts. Each step Long Chen took forced the dragon disciples to retreat further, their arrogance crumbling into fear. The once proud experts froze, paralyzed by the overwhelming pressure radiating from him. With a wave of his spear, a resounding dragon cry echoed through the air, reverberating like a warning bell. He eyed these disciples with icy killing intent. How had the prideful dragon race fallen to this state? When had they started bullying the weak and cowering before the strong? The thought filled Long Chen with disgust. His grip on the spear tightened as his teeth clenched. The dragon blood flowing through his veins tied him, in part, to these people. Yet, their behavior felt like an insult to everything the dragon race once stood for. A dark urge to kill them all flared in his heart, but he suppressed it, striding forward with grim determination. As he pressed deeper into the domain, more dragon experts appeared. Suddenly, one of them shouted in alarm, his voice breaking the tension. Isn't that the resonant dragon race's divine emperor weapon, the blood dragon fang? The declaration stirred a wave of disbelief. Long Chen hadn't expected it to be regarded so highly. In its current state, the blood dragon fang was a shadow of its former self. The weapon had likely suffered a grievous injury in the past and had never recovered. Back in the Wind Domain battlefield, Long Chen had avoided using it against true experts, fearing he might worsen its condition. How do you have the resonant dragon race's divine weapon? Demanded one of the onlookers, his voice brimming with accusation and fury. Long Chen looked at the speaker, sensing an aura strikingly similar to Ying Tianhua's. The resonant dragon race is in the dragon domain? Long Chen's voice dripped with contempt. No wonder this place has fallen to such disgrace. Perhaps you fools are the source of the corruption. Without waiting for a reply, Long Chen's hand slashed through the air. The space around the speaker twisted violently, eliciting a panicked shout as the figure attempted to flee. But it was too late. The distorted space swallowed him whole, and in the blink of an eye, he materialized helplessly in Long Chen's iron grip. Long Chen found that his comprehension of spatial laws had increased after advancing to the Heaven Saint realm. While this simple grasp through space looked simple, to do so against a Heaven Saint was actually very difficult. Such a feat demanded profound insight and precise control. Too much force would pulverize the target. Too little would allow them to tear free from the distortion. This simple claw expressed Long Chen's overall power. The captive, despite not being weak, had no time to resist and could only stare in terror, unable to comprehend how he had been so easily subdued. Long Chen's cold eyes scanned him briefly. Deciding the man was irredeemable, he wasted no time on words. He directly stabbed a finger through his head and conducted a brutal soul search. What he uncovered only fanned the flames of his fury. The resonant dragon race was not only present in the dragon domain but held an esteemed position within it. Worse, they were openly collaborating with the Brahma Pill Valley, a fact that seemed to be common knowledge. As Long Chen pieced the fragments together, a disturbing pattern emerged. The resonant dragon race had amassed a formidable force of fighters, mirroring the treachery that had unfolded outside the endless desolation. There, the nether dragon race had betrayed the dragon domain. Here, within the Heaven Essence world, it wasn't just the resonant dragon race, it included the nether dragon race and other factions. This revelation broke Long Chen's heart. The scale of betrayal mirrored the dragon sovereign's agony, and for the first time, Long Chen truly grasped the depth of its pain. You fools, are you forcing me to exterminate you all? He muttered through gritted teeth, his voice trembling with killing intent. He was about to lose control. With a wave of his spear, he increased his speed, heading deeper into the dragon domain. Senior apprentice brother Long Chun. A startled cry pierced through the crowd. Long Chun turned, his gaze falling on a young face he didn't recognize. Seeing Long Chen's confusion, the young man hastily explained, "Senior apprentice brother, I came with you from outside the desolation. Tell everyone who came with us to stay away." Long Chun said flatly, "I'm killing my way in. Once the slaughter begins, I won't be able to differentiate between friend and foe." The young man hesitated, alarmed by Long Chen's chilling tone. "I go!" Long Chen barked, silencing the young man. The metallic scrape of Long Chen's dragon bone spear dragging across the ground echoed ominously as he moved forward. His killing intent intensified with every step, cutting through the oppressive atmosphere like a blade. Long Chun couldn't figure out how the dragon race could turn into this state. The rot he had seen outside the desolation was appalling, but this was insane. And this was just the outer region of the dragon domain. Was the core of the dragon domain just as rotten? If it was, would saving them even matter? "You're from the Dragonblood Legion, aren't you?" Those cowards refused to show their faces. A mocking voice interrupted his thoughts. A red-robed woman descended from the sky, her dragon horns gleaming and a powerful blood chi radiating from her. However, Long Chen didn't even look at her. Dragging along the spear, he continued onward. "It's an expert from the blood dragon race," exclaimed one of the onlookers. "Arrogant fellow, be suppressed." The woman's voice dripped with disdain as she raised her hand. Heaven and earth trembled, and a massive palm formed from dense blood chi descended upon Long Chun. Boom! Without pausing, Long Chun casually waved his hand and disintegrated the enormous palm into blood-colored runes. The red-robed woman shuddered, blood oozing out of the corner of her mouth. She stared at him in shock, unable to believe it. As an elite of the blood dragon race, she prided herself on her strength. While she hadn't unleashed her full power, her attack was still a high-level divine ability of her clan, combining spiritual strength with a mix of hardness and softness. It was notoriously difficult to counter. Yet Long Chun had obliterated it with a single casual gesture. Fortunately, she hadn't used her full power. Otherwise, the backlash would have shattered her soul, killing her instantly. She had walked past the gates of hell just now, and the realization left her pale and trembling. A divine ability with form but no soul, power but no will, is fit only to bully the weak, Long Chun said coldly, finally turning to look at her. His gaze burned with angry disappointment. "Without the will to soar above the heavens, what is its worth? How did the dragon race produce fools like you?" Her body shuddered under his gaze. It felt as though a king was passing judgment on a lowly peasant, and she was utterly insignificant. Suddenly, the void tore open, and a spear shot toward Long Chun. A voice, icy and full of righteous fury, shouted, "Do you feel proud bullying a woman?" The spear roared with immense energy, suffocating everyone nearby. Another powerful expert had arrived. With a single hand, Long Chun suddenly caught the spear mid-flight. The immense power contained within it vanished like a clay ox falling into the ocean. "What?" gasped the onlookers. "Bullying a woman?" Long Chun sneered, his voice laced with disdain. "There are also supreme experts amongst women. They can become emperors and sovereigns, dazzling existences whose light fills the world. Only a frog at the bottom of a well would spout such ignorant nonsense. What do you, a mere frog, know of the ocean?" A flicker of starlight glimmered in Long Chen's palm as he clenched the spear, causing it to shatter into fragments. "As a member of the dragon race, your physical body is your strongest weapon. Using human weapons to bolster your strength only shows your lack of faith in yourself and in the dragon race. What gives you the right to speak of pride?" Long Chen snorted. When he waved his hand, those fragments flew toward their hidden master. A scream erupted as a bloodied figure was forced out of the void, his body riddled with wounds. The man immediately turned to flee. Seeing him retreat, Long Chen's anger flared even hotter. With a sharp motion, he clawed the air, causing space itself to twist. The man screamed in terror as his body was dragged back toward Long Chen. His legs churned as though running at full speed, but it was futile. He continued to slide backward against his will. It was a comical sight, but no one dared to laugh. There was only horror in their eyes. The man's screams reached a climax before abruptly stopping as he landed in Long Chen's grasp. Without hesitation, Long Chen stabbed his spear into the ground, holding the man by his collar. Then, with unrestrained fury, he started slapping this man repeatedly, 16 times in a row, each blow echoing loudly. "You're going to run after losing? This is the dragon domain, your home. Shouldn't you defend it to the death? Shouldn't you fight to protect your family? Where is your bravery, your courage? What happened to the pride of the dragon race? Can you even answer me?" Long Chen roared with each slap, his voice shaking the air. The man passed out after only a few strikes, unable to respond. Long Chen glared at him in disgust. "Fuck off, you worthless trash. Your dragon blood is wasted on you." Long Chen spat. Though his anger burned hot, Long Chen ultimately refrained from killing the man. This fool wasn't inherently evil, just spineless and pathetic. Tossing him aside like garbage, Long Chen left him crumpled on the ground. The surrounding experts were dumbfounded when they heard the disappointment in Long Chen's voice. They didn't know if they should attack or run. Attack? They had no hope of winning. Flee? The image of that man being so thoroughly humiliated sent chills down their spines. At that moment, a cold, sharp voice broke the tense silence. When did the dragon domain become a place where the human race could act arrogant? The surrounding dragon experts were instantly revitalized. A figure clad in scarlet robes stepped into view. His fiery hair shimmered like molten flame, and his imposing, muscular frame seemed to radiate heat. A flame-shaped rune burned brightly on his forehead, marking his identity. Countless disciples of the dragon race cheered upon seeing him. "Qi Yunxiao has come. Now let's see if this fellow can still keep acting arrogant." Qi Yunxiao was a peak expert of the Scarlet Dragon race, a noble lineage within the dragon race. Their bloodline brimmed with a terrifying flame energy. In human myths, there were flame dragons and scarlet dragons, and within the dragon race, scarlet also represented a crucial stage in their evolution. As their power grew, dragons progressed through colors green, azure, golden, and finally scarlet. For a heaven saint expert of the scarlet dragon race, the deep red of their scales symbolized their noble status. When Qi Yunxiao appeared, all the dragon experts were enlivened, their guts growing once more. "Human race brat, H." One of them suddenly got arrogant and started to jeer, but he suddenly screamed. Long Chen had kicked a fist-sized stone directly into his mouth, shattering his jaw. "When did the dragon race start spewing crap from their mouths?" Long Chen said coldly, his voice sharp as a blade. "The next fool to do so will lose their head." The gathered dragon experts froze in terror, their newfound confidence dissolving like mist under the sun. To avoid a calamity, until Qi Yunxiao defeated this black-robed fellow, they would shut their mouths. "Report your name." "I, Qi Yunxiao, do not kill nameless soldiers," said Qi Yunxiao coldly. "I am Long Chen." "Long Chen? You are the Long Chen they've been talking about." Qi Yunxiao's pupils shrunk as recognition struck him. Though he had never encountered Long Chen before, the name was all too familiar. After all, the arrival of the Dragonblood Legion had thrown the dragon domain into chaos, and countless dragon disciples had sought to challenge them. The Dragonblood warriors spoke frequently of Long Chen, their leader, whose battle prowess and command of the dragon race's essence blood were unmatched. The White Dragon race had also made his name known far and wide, defending him as the leader of the Dragonblood Legion and the one with the purest dragon blood. By offering the Dragonblood Legion asylum, the White Dragon race had earned the wrath of the entire dragon race, so they were clinging bitterly until Long Chen's eventual arrival. That knowledge fueled a burning desire in Qi Yunxiao's eyes, a desire to test himself against the man who had turned the dragon domain upside down. So you are Long Chen. Good. Aren't you the boss of the Dragonblood Legion? Qi Yunxiao sneered, stepping forward. You seem quite arrogant for a human. Let's see how much power a lowly creature like you can draw from the dragon race's essence blood. Each step he took left a blood-red footprint in the void, the heat from his flames igniting the air and burning through space itself. The heat rising from Qi Yunxiao's body forced the surrounding experts to scatter in all directions. They knew all too well how terrifying Qi Yunxiao was. When his flames erupted, anything within reach would be reduced to ash. As Qi Yunxiao advanced, flame runes swirled around him like fiery serpents, radiating wild energy capable of devouring the heavens. Behind him, his heavenly fate disk emerged, within which a flame dragon roared ferociously. This was the Scarlet Dragon Flame, one of the strongest demonic beast flames in existence. Legends claimed that when cultivated to its peak, it could rival a rank 13 heaven flame in power. The scorching flames engulfed the battlefield, encasing Long Chen in a sea of fire. However, as the flames danced around him, Long Chen felt nothing. He let the fire rage around him as if it were nothing more than a warm breeze. Bring out your manifestation, Qi Yunxiao demanded. I want to face you at full power. If you're truly strong, I'll consider sparing your life. Qi Yunxiao didn't immediately attack, thinking that Long Chen was too stunned by his flame energy and had lost his courage. Hence, Qi Yunxiao restrained his flames slightly, allowing Long Chen the time to prepare. Long Chen glanced at him and spoke lightly. You aren't evil, but your head, it's a bit dull. The calm insult struck Qi Yunxiao like a slap. His expression darkened as he roared. Long Chen, have you given up? Do you lack the courage to fight me? Ignoring the outburst, Long Chen responded with a question of his own. Tell me, what rank did you hold in the Heaven Essence Dragon domain? Qi Yunxiao blinked, momentarily caught off guard by the inquiry. 3 years ago, in the Dragon Power Rankings, I was ranked 97th. Since then, the Dragon domain has descended into chaos, and the rankings were discarded. No one bothers with the Dragon Power Stone anymore. But my cultivation and strength have grown significantly since then. I'm confident I could break into the top 50 now. What of it? The Dragon Power Stone was a special artifact used to measure a dragon's bloodline purity and innate potential. However, it only gauged the bloodline's latent strength, not a person's actual combat ability. Not everyone blessed with a strong bloodline was destined for greatness, just as not everyone with a weaker bloodline was doomed to mediocrity. Some geniuses, despite inheriting the finest bloodline, squandered their potential through laziness, arrogance, or sheer stupidity. In the end, they would be trash until the day they died. Conversely, some might not be blessed with particularly good talent, but they pushed their potential past their limits in pursuit of greater power. Long Chen's gaze rested on Qi Yunxiao. Shaking his head, he said, Your talent isn't bad, but you're hopelessly naive. In a life-and-death battle, breaking into the top 500 would already be an achievement for you. The top 50? You're dreaming. You! Qi Yunxiao's face twisted in fury. What would a human like you know? What gives you the right to judge me? You know nothing of the dragon race. Don't blame me for not giving you a chance to unleash your full power. Seeing Long Chen still refusing to unleash his aura, Qi Yunxiao snarled and waved his hand. Flame runes condensed into a massive flaming spear that materialized in the air. With a deafening roar, the spear tore through space, streaking toward Long Chen like a fiery meteor. However, Long Chen merely lifted his hand and waved it casually, crushing the spear. The sheer ease of this act left the onlookers stunned, their shock mirrored on Qi Yunxiao's face. You couldn't even break into the top 500, Long Chen said indifferently. You're not qualified to fight me. Step aside, or you will get a beating. Ignoring Qi Yunxiao's boiling rage, Long Chen calmly advanced, walking through the blazing inferno as though it didn't exist. You are too arrogant. Qi Yunxiao roared in fury, his shock giving way to blind rage. With flames blazing around him, he lunged at Long Chen like a bolt of lightning and launched a fist at him. But just as his attack was about to connect, Long Chen vanished. Qi Yunxiao's pupils shrank in disbelief. Where had he gone? Before he could react, Long Chen reappeared directly in front of him. His movement was so fast it was as if he had never disappeared at all. To everyone's astonishment, Long Chen extended his right hand and flicked Qi Yunxiao on the forehead with his middle finger. Boom! An explosive sound reverberated through the battlefield, and Qi Yunxiao was sent hurtling through the air, his body smashing through the ground and leaving a trail of massive holes. The crowd fell into a deathly silence. No one could believe what they had just witnessed. A flick to the head, simple, effortless, like an adult playing with a child. Yet, the sheer power behind it was utterly terrifying. Qi Yunxiao was still surrounded by flames, struggling to get up, while everyone could see a conspicuous bump swelling on his forehead. No one felt like laughing at him. They were far too stunned. After all, Qi Yunxiao was a well-known figure. Over the past few years, his name had echoed throughout the dragon domain. Among the younger generation, even those who hadn't met him knew his reputation. He was truly powerful. Other than in the territories of a few monstrous existences, he could practically go unchallenged in the dragon domain. But today he was toyed in front of everyone. The stinging pain from the swelling bump on his forehead only deepened his humiliation. "You dare to dupe me?" he roared. "Dupe you? If I didn't feel like you were at least decent, I'd have slapped you instead." "Be grateful that I am letting you off lightly," replied Long Chen indifferently, continuing to walk forward. Boom! Qi Yunxiao's fury exploded. A thunderous dragon roar echoed from his manifestation as fiery energy surged around him, blazing into the sky. With a wave of his hand, a scarlet saber materialized in Qi Yunxiao's hand. As flames coiled around it like living serpents, he swung it at Long Chen. Boom! Long Chen met the attack with a casual swing of his dragon bone spear. The collision of the two divine weapons caused the ground to tremble and the air to shudder. The next moment, blinding flame runes exploded like brilliant fireworks. The sight of Long Chen effortlessly blocking Qi Yunxiao's full power attack left the onlookers stunned. Furthermore, his footsteps didn't pause. As he continued walking forward, Qi Yunxiao retreated continuously, his feet dragging across the ground. The crowd was bewildered. For the first time, they truly grasped the immense chasm between Long Chen and Qi Yunxiao. Qi Yunxiao had summoned his manifestation and core flame, but Long Chen could push him back with just the power of his physical body. The difference between them was undeniable. One fought at full capacity, while the other advanced with casual ease. It was a reality the dragon experts didn't want to accept but had no choice but to acknowledge. Has the dragon race wasted all its power on infighting? Even with all that strength, you can't figure out how to wield it properly. "What a disappointment," said Long Chen coldly, pressing forward with his dragon bone spear. With every step, Qi Yunxiao was forced further back, his resistance growing weaker. Qi Yunxiao's shock turned into fury, his face contorted with rage. At this moment, the dragon bone spear in Long Chen's hand emitted a deep rumble, the dragon soul within it roaring disdainfully. It behaved like a king looking down on a lesser being. The Scarlet Saber was a treasured legacy divine weapon of the Scarlet Dragon race, its blade housing a powerful dragon soul. However, it seemed subdued before the dragon's spear, as if recognizing its inferiority. Being flicked in the head by Long Chen and then seeing a weapon mock him, all in front of countless spectators, Qi Yunxiao practically went insane. "Shut your mouth!" roared Qi Yunxiao. His heavenly fate disc spun wildly, releasing surging flames that seemed to condense into a liquid form. He poured his dragon blood power into these flames, covertly igniting his essence blood to bolster his strength. The heat radiating from Qi Yunxiao became so intense that the ground beneath him started to melt, and the sky itself seemed to sizzle and warp. Yet, despite the terrifying display, the flames couldn't do anything to Long Chen. Faint flame runes shimmered on Long Chen's black robes. They were Hua Linger's protective touch that prevented his clothing from disintegrating under the heat. Qi Yunxiao's desperate effort was almost pitiable. The flames he unleashed, which could have overwhelmed most experts, amounted to nothing before Long Chun. Against Hualinger, a grandmaster of playing with fire, his little flame energy wasn't even a threat. Due to his focus on flame mastery, Qi Yunxiao had neglected his physical strength. Thus, no matter what he did, Long Chun continued to push him like a dog. Even as he dug his legs into the ground, attempting to anchor himself, he was still forced to retreat. The dirt beneath his feet gave way, leaving a long, humiliating ditch in his wake. Scarlet Dragon Blood Explosion. Qi Yunxiao roared furiously, his voice trembling with fury, as he unleashed all of his power in one desperate move. A heaven-shaking, explosive sound rang out. Qi Yunxiao pushed forward with his saber, causing the ground beneath Long Chen's feet to explode. Finally, Long Chen was forced to halt his advance. Seizing the moment, Qi Yunxiao leaped back, blood dripping from the corners of his mouth as he hovered in the air. His eyes burned scarlet, and his expression was twisted with madness. As Qi Yunxiao raised his saber up to the heavens, feral flames spiraled around him violently, warping even his manifestation. "Has he gone mad?" Startled cries rang out through the crowd. Qi Yunxiao was igniting his Dragon Core's power, merging his manifestation into this attack. But even if he succeeded, the toll on his body would leave him crippled for life. Just as he was accumulating power, the void distorted, and time seemed to freeze. A gleaming dragon spear appeared at his throat, its chilling tip pressing against his skin. "What?" Gasps erupted from the spectators. No one had seen Long Chen move, yet he had closed the distance in an instant. If he pushed the spear an inch forward, Qi Yunxiao's throat would be pierced. Qi Yunxiao froze, completely dumbfounded. When he sensed the icy killing intent enveloping him, sweat slowly dripped down his forehead. He had never felt this close to death before. With great difficulty, he gulped. "You don't believe me when I say you're stupid? Let alone igniting your Dragon Core. Even if you detonated it, you wouldn't be able to harm me in the slightest. You couldn't even properly gauge your opponent's strength before recklessly sacrificing your future. So tell me, are you stupid or not?" said Long Chun, looking coldly at Qi Yunxiao. Qi Yunxiao's face was pale, and cold sweat trickled down his temple. He didn't dare utter a word. His life was entirely in Long Chen's hands, and he knew full well that if Long Chun decided to kill him, no one could intervene. Even if you want to drag your enemy down with you, you need the qualifications to do so, Long Chun continued, his voice like icy steel. "So, do you have those qualifications?" "No." Qi Yunxiao's response was weak, his earlier arrogance utterly deflated. With a slight scoff, Long Chun withdrew his spear, his interest in Qi Yunxiao already gone. Without a backward glance, he resumed walking deeper into the dragon domain. Qi Yunxiao stood frozen, his mind spinning as he had been spared. Watching Long Chen's retreating figure, he felt something burning within him, a mix of humiliation and newfound awe. Gritting his teeth, he suddenly shouted, "Can I follow you?" Countless dragon race experts were astonished. Qi Yunxiao, a famed prodigy of the dragon domain, was asking to follow Long Chun? "You aren't qualified," Long Chun replied without turning, his words hitting Qi Yunxiao like a thunderclap. "Ha ha ha! Qi Yunxiao, you idiot! Even if you want to be someone's dog, he doesn't want you. How about I kill him and you become my dog?" The mocking laughter came from a man cloaked in black dragon scales. Before anyone could react, he charged at Long Chun, his fist hurtling toward Long Chen's head with a force that seemed to shatter the air. "Fuck off!" shouted Long Chen. The man barely got close when Long Chun slapped him across the face. The blow sent him hurtling back faster than he had arrived, his body spinning through the air like a ragdoll. "It's Wu Yi Feng!" Startled cries erupted as a figure was hurled through the air and crashed into the ground. Wu Yi Feng, a name synonymous with fear and respect among the Black Crow dragon race, was known for his peerless strength and boundless arrogance. His vicious demeanor made him untouchable, and only a few experts dared to provoke him. Even someone as powerful as Qi Yunxiao had suffered at Wu Yifeng's hands and been mocked by him ever since. Despite achieving significant growth in the last few years, Qi Yunxiao never had the courage to challenge Wu Yifeng to another battle. The Black Crow dragon race had a reputation for brutality, but they were also famous for their lack of intellect. Their tendency to screw up even simple tasks had made their name a byword for foolishness. Although they were a branch of the Black Dragon race, their scales had no luster, as if they were simply dyed black. Their dark energy was also not as pure as that of the Black Dragon race. Thus, amongst the larger dragon races, the Black Crow dragon race was viewed as a pack of powerful fools. While their brute strength was undeniable, their lack of intelligence and tact made them unsuitable for any mission requiring finesse or strategy. At best, they were seen as disposable fighters, but not even trusted enough to serve as bodyguards. Yet Wu Yifeng stood as an exception. His dark energy carried a unique oppressive force that suppressed opponents like Qi Yunxiao. Combined with his formidable physical strength, Wu Yifeng was a force to be reckoned with. Even though Qi Yunxiao's power had grown significantly in recent times, he knew he was no match for Wu Yifeng. However, no one anticipated the spectacle that followed. While Qi Yunxiao had managed to exchange a few blows with Long Chun, Wu Yifeng didn't even get the chance to strike before being humiliated. With a single slap, Long Chun sent Wu Yifeng hurtling through the air. The move looked effortless, unhurried and almost casual. The slap wasn't particularly fast, and everyone saw it clearly, except Wu Yifeng. For him, time seemed to freeze. He neither sensed nor reacted to the attack before it landed. The impact was thunderous, hurling him into the ground with such force that a massive crater formed around him. "Kill me? Are you qualified?" Long Chun snorted. Before anyone could react, Long Chun vanished, reappearing in an instant above the crater. His speed was so overwhelming that it seemed he had teleported. Without hesitation, Long Chun stomped down. Wu Yifeng, still dizzy from the slap, barely managed to cross his arms in defense before the blow landed. Boom! The earth trembled violently, and the crater expanded tenfold as the force of the strike echoed across the battlefield. Moments later, a distant section of the ground erupted with a deafening blast, revealing a figure. This figure was Wu Yifeng, and he was hacking up blood. Before he could regain his bearings, a flash of white light streaked through the air. The dragon bone spear pierced cleanly through his head, swift and merciless. Wu Yifeng's body shuddered one final time before his aura faded into nothingness. Hovering above the battlefield, Long Chun retrieved the dragon's spear with a smooth motion. The next moment, the dragon's spear flashed, and the black blood on it turned into smoke. It was as if the dragon spear was looking down on Wu Yifeng's blood. At last, Wu Yifeng's lifeless body fell from the sky, crashing to the ground. The once-renowned genius of the Black Crow dragon race was dead just like that. The crowd froze, their hair standing on end. Among them, Qi Yunxiao was pale with fright. He had just exchanged a few moves with Long Chun and hadn't been convinced of his defeat. But now he realized just how large the gap between them was. Even someone as powerful as Wu Yifeng couldn't retaliate against Long Chun. Then what about him? For him to still be alive felt like a miracle. Ignoring the commotion, Long Chun continued to walk toward the core region of the dragon domain. At this moment, countless experts were rushing over. They arrived just in time to witness the aftermath. Wu Yifeng's lifeless body and Long Chun's unyielding presence. Stunned, they stared at the human who had defied the dragon domain, their faces pale with terror. The fear in their eyes only fueled Long Chun's anger. His immense disappointment almost drove him to kill them all. If I truly were an enemy of the dragon race, these so-called successors wouldn't even have the courage to draw their blades against me. Is this the legacy they've inherited? He thought bitterly. Just then, a deep, weary sigh echoed in his mind. It was the voice of the primal chaos dragon sovereign. The sigh carried the weight of centuries, a resonance of immense disappointment. Through Long Chun's eyes, the dragon's sovereign witnessed a scene it had never wanted to see. Scram! Long Chun roared. It felt as though a blade twisted in his heart as he unleashed his fury on the gathered dragon disciples. The dragon roars at the 9 heavens. Divine ability erupted from him, sending waves of sound tearing through the void. The disciples were blasted off their feet, their bodies flung like ragdolls. The majority collapsed, overwhelmed by the sheer force of his roar. Even so, this devastation was the result of Long Chen holding back. If he hadn't restrained himself, they wouldn't have survived. The roar blew apart the clouds in the sky, swaying the stars high above. The enormous dragon domain shuddered because of it. Moreover, this roar carried more than fury. Intertwined with the bloodline divine ability was the dragon sovereign's pain and rage. This voice penetrated the souls of every member of the dragon race. Hundreds of thousands of experts succumbed to the overwhelming pressure, fainting where they stood. Without sparing them a glance, Long Chen swaggered past them. Who dares to barge into my dragon domain? Do you think the dragon domain has no one who can crush you? A 9-vein emperor appeared, his fury palpable. He had been the closest and was the first to arrive. Seeing a human causing hundreds of thousands of experts of the dragon race to fall beneath his feet, he furiously unleashed a claw toward Long Chen. So the mighty dragon race has been reduced to parroting the ways of the human race? Just how far has the dragon domain fallen? Long Chen sneered, his brows furrowed with disdain. He thrust the dragon bone spear forward, its runes swirling like a storm. After that, a sharp ray of divine light erupted on it, and a resonant dragon cry filled the air. The ray of light sliced through the dragon claw with ease and continued toward this elder of the dragon race. The elder was startled. Golden dragon scales swiftly covered his palm as he swung it to meet the ray of light. With a resounding crack, the light shattered, but the force left his hand numb. How could a heaven saint of the human race wield such overwhelming power? He thought, his mind reeling. Just as he blew apart the ray of divine light, the dragon bone spear darted toward his chest like a viper's fang. What? Everyone was shocked to see a prime 9-vein emperor lose against a heaven saint in one blow. It seems that the dragon race's decline isn't a matter of a few days. Even your elders have no combat instincts. No wonder each generation is worse than the last. Long Chen's voice carried a cold edge as he stared down at the elder, his spear still embedded in the elder's chest. The elder was stunned. After shattering Long Chen's initial attack, he hadn't expected such a rapid follow-up. He had no time to react. If you want to kill me, then do it. Don't insult the dragon race. Humph. I'd like to see how you plan to leave the dragon domain alive, snarled the elder. Threatening me? All right then. The elder actually did have some backbone, but his threatening tone made Long Chen angry. The runes on his spear started to glow ominously. Long Chen, don't. A familiar, frantic voice called out, halting Long Chen's hand. He then turned to see Bai Yingxue approaching with a group of white dragon race experts and other familiar faces. Boss! Guoran, Guyong, Bai Shaola, and the others showed up, their eyes reddening when they saw Long Chen in the flesh. They had all feared the worst after their disastrous encounter with the silver-hair void crusher. After all, that dumb bastard was stronger than any foe they had ever encountered. So, while the white dragon race leader had hinted that Long Chen was still alive, doubts still lingered in their hearts. Now, seeing him standing tall, with a dragon bone spear in hand and a defeated 9-vein emperor at his feet, they could barely hold back their tears. Even Bai Shirshir, who had tried to brace herself, couldn't stop her tears from flowing. Covering her mouth, she wept silently. She had been more worried than anyone. Countless times, her thoughts had spiraled into worst-case scenarios, leaving her restless and unable to focus on cultivation. Now that he was back, all the fear and uncertainty she had buried came rushing out, her tears flowing uncontrollably. Long Chen's gaze softened as he looked at them, his heart filling with warmth. When his eyes met Bai Shirshir's and saw her struggling to hold back her sobs, a wave of heartache washed over him. The fury that had gripped him moments earlier started to dissipate. Young friend Long Chen, let's stop this here. Whatever grievances remain, We can discuss them within the safety of our territory, said a calm voice, breaking the moment. The speaker was an elder from the white dragon race. Short and pudgy, he didn't appear like a peerless expert. Instead, he resembled a friendly, approachable elder from a quiet village. Yet, behind his humble appearance lay the unfathomable power of a true half-step dragon emperor. Despite his immense strength, his presence was warm and inviting, not oppressive. It was as if one could instinctively trust him and lower all defenses in his presence. It was clear his strength was not meant to harm but to protect. It was this balance that made him seem so approachable. "Humph, I'll send you off," Long Chun muttered coldly, his attention returning to the elder impaled on his spear. With a dismissive snort, he swung the elder off and sent him flying. Long Chun said, "Guyang, here's a gift." When the baldy caught the bone dragon spear, he instantly felt a bloodline resonance with it, sensing its terrifying power. "Thank you, boss," Guyang cried out excitedly, not expecting Long Chun to suddenly give him such a powerful divine weapon. Although no one knew the dragon spear's origins, everyone from the Dragon Blood Legion had a wealth of experience. They could sense that it was definitely a shocking divine weapon. "Long Chun, let me introduce you. This is the Heaven Essence Dragon Domain's White Dragon Race Leader," Bai Ingxue said hurriedly. "Boss, you aren't fair." "What about me?" asked Bai Shaola enviously. Bai Shishir immediately smacked him on the back of his head. This little fellow never read the situation. Bai Ingxue was introducing Long Chun to the White Dragon Race Leader. For Bai Shaola to interject now was far too rude. Ignoring the overly enthusiastic Bai Shaola, Long Chun cupped his fists and offered a slight bow. "Greetings, senior." The White Dragon Race Leader smiled warmly. "There's no need for formalities, young friend. This isn't the time or place to linger. Let us return to the White Dragon Race's territory." "Keep dreaming," a sharp, venomous voice cut through the air. At this moment, a black-faced elder arrived with many followers, their killing intent fully unleashed. Leading them was another half-step dragon emperor, and he glared at Long Chun as if trying to tear him to pieces with his eyes. This man was the leader of the Black Crow Dragon race and Wu Yifeng's grandfather. Upon hearing of his grandson's death, he had flown into a towering rage and mobilized his full force without hesitation. "You've killed my grandson, so you should know what you have to do, correct?" shouted the Black Crow Dragon race leader, not even looking at the White Dragon race leader. "Of course," replied Long Chun nonchalantly. "Then kill yourself." The Black Crow Dragon race leader spat coldly. "Ah, it seems there's been a misunderstanding," Long Chun said, his tone light yet cutting. "It was indeed wrong of me to kill your grandson. For him to walk the path to the Yellow Springs alone must be painful. Allow me to send you to join him." The Dragon Blood warriors standing behind Long Chun felt their blood surge at his words. This was their boss, a man whose arrogance was sharper than any weapon. Other than Long Chun, who else dared to say such audacious words? "You are courting death," the Black Crow Dragon race leader roared, erupting with the might of a half-step dragon emperor. Long Chun's hand moved to Evelmoon's hilt. With a cold and merciless voice, like the whisper of a death god, he said, "I'm willing to give foolish people one chance, but bad people, I'll cut them down where they stand. As for someone both foolish and wicked like you, it seems your time has simply run out." The Black Crow Dragon race leader roared with fury. "Ignorant human, you have no idea how vast the heavens are. Everyone else, stand aside. Anyone who dares block my path to vengeance will be declaring war against the Black Crow Dragon race." At his command, the hundreds of thousands of Black Crow Dragon experts formed a barrier, blocking the White Dragon race from intervening. His words were meant as a warning to the White Dragon race. Stopping him would mean open conflict. After all, it was entirely reasonable for the race leader to avenge his grandson's death. If the White Dragon race tried to stop him, it would be a declaration of war. The White Dragon race leader shook his head. Just as he was about to speak, someone stepped forward. "Boss, can you let me have him?" No one had expected Guyang to step forward at this time. With the dragon bone spear firmly in his grasp, he strode onto the battlefield, completely ignoring the suffocating pressure from the Black Crow dragon race leader. A six-vein emperor from the Black Crow dragon race then tried to stop him, but Gu Yang appeared behind him in a flash, his speed astonishing. Long Chen's eyes brightened as he watched. This fellow's strength had grown immensely. Most likely, the dragon soul in him had taught him quite a bit. Seeing that the opponent was a half-step dragon emperor radiating immense pressure and overwhelming blood qi, Long Chen initially planned to intervene. However, Gu Yang's bold demeanor and confident stride made him pause. Slowly, Long Chen relaxed his grip on Evil Moon, a small smile playing at the corner of his lips. Noticing Long Chen's silent approval, Gu Yang was delighted. Turning back to the Black Crow dragon race leader, he sneered, "Old fogey, you and your pathetic lizards are just dogs of the resonant dragon race, biting whoever they tell you to bite. You've tried to bite us, but we couldn't be bothered to deal with you because we didn't want to make a fuss while our boss wasn't here. It's not because we're afraid of you. You've sent rabbits to challenge us at the white dragon race's doorstep, and we've been enduring it. But now you think you can challenge my boss? You really overestimate yourself." By the end, Gu Yang was practically gnashing his teeth. Long Chen noticed the anger in his tone, and looking at the faces of the Dragonblood warriors, he realized how much they had suffered in his absence. The Dragonblood Legion had risked life and limb to escort the dragon race's experts through the endless desolation, a feat that had shaken the entire dragon domain. Yet, their reception had been utterly disgraceful. The first response of these idiots was suspicion. They even conducted soul searches on their fellow dragon race experts, treating them as potential threats. Only then did these idiots grudgingly acknowledge their brethren. But when it came to the Dragonblood Legion, they flatly rejected them. Worse, they considered the fact that the Dragonblood warriors possessed dragon blood an insult to the dragon race and attempted to extract their dragon blood. This wasn't a simple request. It meant killing the Dragonblood warriors and draining their dragon blood. Such audacity was beyond infuriating, causing the Dragonblood Legion to seethe with rage. They had already been pushed to the brink when the soul searches were conducted on the experts they had risked everything to protect. These fuckers were practically viewing them all as beggars from the outside. The Dragonblood Legion had slaughtered an uncountable number of devil creatures and stared death in the face countless times to bring these experts to safety. Yet, instead of gratitude, the other side wanted to extract their blood. It was too much. The Dragonblood Legion was on the verge of drawing their weapons, ready to slaughter these fools. Even without Long Chen, they couldn't tolerate such humiliation. They would rather fight to the death than submit to this disgrace. Just as a battle was about to explode, the white dragon race rushed over and managed to pacify everyone. However, this immediately drew the displeasure of the other dragon races. The normally peaceful white dragon race leader had taken a firm stand for the first time in years. He declared that if anyone dared to harm the Dragonblood Legion, the white dragon race would fight to the death to protect them. This attitude stunned the other dragon races. The white dragon race had never bared their fangs at them, so they didn't know what to do. Taking advantage of their shock, the white dragon race leader brought the Dragonblood Legion back to their territory and immediately entered a defensive state, as if they were waiting for a powerful enemy to come knocking on their doors. The white dragon race leader personally apologized to the Dragonblood warriors and guaranteed their safety if they just waited here for Long Chen's return. Seeing the white dragon race leader's attitude, the warriors felt much better. But it wasn't long before the other dragon races regrouped and started applying pressure on the white dragon race. However, the white dragon race's attitude was unyielding, their position crystal clear. "If you want the Dragonblood Legion, you'll have to get through us first, and over our dead bodies." Seeing the white dragon race defending the Dragonblood Legion so stubbornly, the other dragon races didn't know what to do. Although the white dragon race wasn't the strongest existence here, they were still one of the central pillars of the dragon race. Their pure sacred energy could assist other dragon races in cultivation and heal their wounds. Hence, even with the dragon domain in chaos, no one dared to attack the white dragon race. No matter what, they shouldn't be harmed. Since the white dragon race refused to hand the Dragonblood warriors over, the opposing factions resorted to another tactic: cursing. They hurled every insult imaginable, focusing especially on the human race. They even dared to drag Long Chen's name into their provocations. The moment Long Chen's name was sullied, the Dragonblood Legion erupted with fury. No amount of restraint or reasoning could hold them back. They charged out of the White Dragon race's camp and mercilessly cut down hundreds of dragon disciples spewing insults. For the Dragonblood Legion to charge out was, unfortunately, to fall right into the enemy's trap. Countless dragon experts emerged in response, including race leaders, with the Black Crow Dragon race leader at the forefront. Just as the situation was about to spiral into chaos, the White Dragon race mobilized their 10,000 dragon nests, crashing toward the opposing factions as if to annihilate them all in one fell swoop. The sheer force of the attack sent their enemies fleeing in panic. When the Dragonblood Legion returned to the White Dragon race's camp, they could barely hold back their fury. They didn't fear a battle, but they couldn't accept this kind of humiliation. After that, Gu Yang suggested leaving the dragon domain. This place, in his eyes, was far too disappointing and unworthy of their effort. The rest of the Dragonblood warriors agreed, but Yu Zifeng's calm voice cut through the tension, urging them to reconsider. He gave 2 reasons for staying. First, their boss Long Chen had yet to return. Such a significant decision should not be made without him, as it carried major implications. Second, they were now bound to the dragon race through their shared bloodline and had benefited from the dragon race's favor. If the dragon domain was in chaos, it was only right for them to do their part to fix it. At the very least, if they didn't have the ability to turn chaos into order, they shouldn't add oil to the fire. Yu Zifeng's words instantly calmed everyone down, and they felt like he was correct. As they possessed dragon blood, they could be considered half-members of the dragon race. To leave now would be to shirk their responsibility during the dragon race's time of need. Thanks to Yu Zifeng's reasoning, the Dragonblood Legion chose to stay. Moved by their resolve, the White Dragon race leader created a secret sanctuary for them, one fortified against the outside world's venomous curses. Within this protected space, the Dragonblood Legion entered seclusion. They focused on cultivating their dragon blood and strengthening their connection with their dragon souls. With the White Dragon race's guidance, their dragon souls underwent a profound second awakening. Due to their connection with the dragon domain, their dragon souls started to share ancient knowledge, passing down innate divine abilities and teaching them how to activate their ancestral runes. As a result, the power of the Dragonblood warriors surged, their strength growing by leaps and bounds. Now, with Long Chen finally back, their suppressed fury was unleashed in full force. Stepping forward without hesitation, Gu Yang pointed his dragon bone spear directly at the Black Crow Dragon race leader. "Old fogey, take out your weapon," he roared, his voice echoing with battle intent. With Long Chen's return, the Dragonblood Legion no longer had any misgivings. Gu Yang could now go all out. As the first captain of the Dragonblood Legion, it was his duty to let his brothers vent their pent-up anger through him. The moment Gu Yang pointed the dragon spear at the Black Crow Dragon race leader, sharp killing intent locked onto the latter, surprising the surrounding experts. Although the Dragonblood Legion had clashed with the dragon race's disciples, those bloody battles were brief and led mainly by ordinary Dragonblood warriors. Neither Gu Yang nor the squad leaders had needed to fight personally. Hence, this was the first time these dragon race experts witnessed the bald captain in action. When Gu Yang's killing intent surged, it left even half-step dragon emperors visibly shaken. "Who do you think you are to challenge our race leader?" sneered a genius of the Black Crow Dragon race. This guy was second only to Wu Yifeng in strength and immediately leaped forward to intercept Gu Yang's challenge. Wielding a massive broadsword, he slashed it toward Gu Yang with ferocious power. Scram! Gu Yang bellowed, and a torrent of wild blood chi erupted from him like an exploding volcano. With a single thrust of his spear, the genius was blasted into the air like a broken kite. Long Chen's heart shook. Gu Yang's dragon power was astounding, surging without his manifestation. It was as if he had turned into a real dragon. His aura also carried an innate resonance, almost akin to Long Chen's own. At this moment, it became clear. The dragon bone spear was not merely a weapon in Gu Yang's hands. It was an extension of his very being. The synergy between man and weapon was flawless. As Long Chen expected, this spear could only unleash its full potential in Gu Yang's hands. The defeated genius forced himself to stop mid-air. However, as soon as he stabilized, blood spurted from his mouth. Gu Yang's blow hadn't been at full strength, as his true power was reserved for the Black Crow dragon race leader. If the defeated genius had let himself fly further, the impact would have dissipated harmlessly. Instead, his pride compelled him to stop in the air, and the resulting backlash left him severely injured. Although the injury appeared minor, a single mouthful of blood, it was far from superficial. The genius's body and aura visibly withered, rendering him incapable of fighting anymore. Foolish human, since you want to die, I'll grant your request. The Black Crow dragon race leader had looked down on Gu Yang. However, after witnessing him unleash such devastating power with a casual blow, he couldn't help but feel cautious. Boom! The space behind the Black Crow dragon race leader exploded. Within the swirling darkness, a massive black dragon emerged, and the full might of a half-step dragon emperor surged, shaking the heavens. The immense pressure forced the surrounding experts to retreat in panic. Even though it was merely a passive release of his aura, it was unbearable. Many felt as though their very bodies were on the verge of being torn apart. Once they were actually fighting, the dragon might would be 10 times greater, crushing them instantly. The Black Crow dragon race leader's raging blood chi churned like a tempest, and the black dragon behind him swam menacingly through the swirling chi. This was not a manifestation but a projection of his true dragon form, a display of raw, unrestrained power. After passing the human emperor realm, dragons started to shed the limitations of their human form, gradually reclaiming their true dragon form. In this state, they could unleash their full, terrifying potential. However, many dragon experts had spent the majority of their lives in human form, even before reaching the human emperor realm. Much of their combat expertise was rooted in their human form. Hence, even after regaining their ability to transform into dragons, they often chose to fight in human form, projecting their true dragon forms through their manifestations. This approach allowed them to seamlessly switch between forms, offering greater flexibility in battle. The overwhelming dragon might was now focused entirely on Gu Yang. Under the immense pressure, Gu Yang's bones creaked audibly, and his body quivered slightly. Yet, his expression remained calm, and his eyes never wavered from their target. A little human dares to challenge a half-step dragon emperor? Truly courting death. He probably can't even summon his manifestation in this state, sneered a dragon expert. Everyone could see that Gu Yang was under immense pressure. After all, he was facing a half-step dragon emperor, and the pressure wasn't something a heaven saint could endure. The Black Crow dragon race leader's oppressive aura spread across the battlefield, shaking the heavens and earth. Despite the suffocating atmosphere, one figure remained entirely unaffected: Long Chen. Long Chen stood calmly near Gu Yang, ignoring the immense dragon might. Couldn't so much as ruffle his hair or stir his clothes. The Black Crow dragon race leader's gaze remained fixed on Gu Yang, the black dragon behind him coiling and twisting ominously within the swirling black chi. This display was his way of demonstrating to Long Chen that the dragon race was invincible. However, as his pressure intensified, he began to notice something strange from Long Chen and Gu Yang. Despite standing in the heart of the storm, Long Chen seemed completely oblivious to the dragon might. Most frightening of all, neither the dragon soul lock nor the bloodline lock had any effect on him. Though Long Chen was visibly present, it was as if he were intangible, utterly immune to their influence. Fool, your opponent is me. Where are you looking at? Gu Yang roared, his voice cutting through the oppressive atmosphere. In an instant, dragon scales spread across his body, shimmering with a primal ferocity. His wild blood chi instantly blew apart the Black Crow dragon race leader's lock, and he shot toward him. What? The Black Crow dragon race leader's eyes widened in disbelief. He was certain his aura had completely locked Gu Yong down, leaving him no room to act. How could he have broken free so effortlessly? What he failed to realize was that Gu Yong had deliberately refrained from summoning his manifestation earlier. Gu Yong had been testing the limits of his physical body, gauging whether it alone could withstand the pressure of a half-step dragon emperor. With the white dragon race's blessing, Gu Yong had grown even closer to his dragon soul, and his power had risen beyond his expectations. Hence, seeing the Black Crow dragon race leader get distracted and shift his attention to Long Chun, Gu Yong snapped. Enraged by the insult, Gu Yong summoned his manifestation in full force, obliterating the lock and surging forward to launch a devastating punch. Seeing Gu Yong not using his spear, the Black Crow dragon race leader unleashed a fist as well. Two fists covered in dragon scales smashed into each other with a heaven-shaking explosion. Boom! Gu Yong and the Black Crow dragon race leader clashed fists, unleashing a shockwave that roared into the heavens. Their surging blood chi shook the battlefield as the two combatants were sent flying backward. The Black Crow dragon race leader stumbled back 3 steps, while Gu Yong retreated 9. Clearly, in terms of pure power, Gu Yong was slightly inferior. But this one exchange was enough to stun countless dragon experts. The Black Crow dragon race leader was a half-step dragon emperor, standing on the cusp of the dragon emperor realm. In contrast, Gu Yong was merely a heaven saint. The gulf between their realms was immense. Yet, Gu Yong had managed to block one of his full-powered attacks. This feat was nothing short of miraculous. After this exchange, Long Chun and the Dragon Blood warriors immediately relaxed. If the power difference between them was small, then Gu Yong was in an undefeatable position. Long Chun took a few steps back to give his brother room to fight. A half-step dragon emperor is only a so-so, sneered Gu Yong, pointing his spear at his opponent. Have you been someone's dog for so long that I can't sense the domineering will of a dragon in your bloodline? Who the hell do you think you are? How dare you insult the great Black Crow dragon race? Furious, the Black Crow dragon race leader summoned a black spear and charged. This spear was no ordinary weapon. It was a legacy divine weapon of the dragon race. Most dragon race experts favored spears, as they combined raw power with agility. Unlike battle axes or warhammers, which relied purely on brute force, a spear allowed dragons to unleash their ferocity with finesse. Typically, the dragon race would engrave intricate dragon runes onto their spears, imbuing them with their dragon blood and dragon souls. These weapons, known as dragon spears, were a signature of the dragon race, symbolizing their power and lineage. Most dragon spears were crafted from dragon fangs or claws. When a dragon expert faced the end of their journey, whether due to their inability to ascend further, an impending death from severe injuries, or simply the passage of time, they would channel their entire life force into a dragon spear, creating a peerless divine weapon, a final legacy for their descendants. Such dragon spears often housed the souls of their makers within them. However, with the passage of time, the wills and memories of these souls would fade, leaving behind item spirits, shadows of the once proud dragons. Boom! Gu Yang's white dragon bone spear and the Black Crow dragon race leader's black dragon spear clashed with such intensity that the entire dragon domain shuddered. Once again, both combatants were forced to retreat simultaneously. But this time, each of them stumbled back 9 steps. Although Gu Yang's power was slightly inferior to his opponent's, his dragon bone spear clearly outshone the Black Crow dragon race leader's weapon. The gap between them was instantly closed. The dragon race's greatness has nothing to do with your Black Crow dragon race. How can a dog with a broken spine dare to call themselves a dragon? Gu Yong sneered, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. Gu Yang's mouth was quite vicious today. Normally, he wouldn't bother spouting venom at others, but he truly loathed the Black Crow dragon race. If he didn't take this chance to nicely humiliate them, wouldn't he have endured all the bitterness for nothing? Shut your shitty mouth! The Black Crow dragon race leader roared, stamping on the air. In an instant, he unleashed 16 devastating strikes with his spear. Gu Yong blocked every single one, but the sheer power of the attacks forced him further and further back. Then, The Black Crow Dragon Race leader suddenly staggered, stepping back to catch his breath. At that moment, the entire Dragonblood Legion shouted in unison, "Die!" In the blink of an eye, Gu Yang's spear shot forward like a venomous viper, piercing the leader's throat. A deep gash was torn open, and black blood sprayed into the air. What? The dragon experts were stunned. The Black Crow Dragon Race leader had been attacking so ferociously and had taken the advantage. How did he suddenly end up injured? Clearly, the crowd had neither the Dragonblood warriors' thick combat experience nor their sharp vision. The Black Crow Dragon Race leader's attacks had come like a violent tempest, each one seemingly unstoppable. However, in his relentless barrage, he had given himself no chance to recover or react. After his final strike, he stepped back to get the respite he needed, but that was when Gu Yang's attack struck. To the trained eye, the opening had been painfully obvious. Any Dragonblood warrior, not just a captain like Gu Yang, would have seized that opportunity without hesitation. Yet, to everyone's surprise, Gu Yang's killing blow didn't penetrate the Black Crow Dragon Race leader's throat completely. Instead, it only left a deep wound. Long Chun and the others were taken aback. The opening had been so clear. There was no reason why Gu Yang's spear shouldn't have severed the leader's throat entirely. However, they quickly noticed something. A black bone necklace around the Black Crow Dragon Race leader's neck. It had blocked part of Gu Yang's power, deflecting the strike just enough to save him from a fatal wound. That was the only reason he had escaped this calamity. Black Dragon Sea Pierce, Gu Yang shouted, his spear twisting toward the Black Crow Dragon Race leader's abdomen. This was a common killing blow used by martial fighters in the mortal world, a sudden thrust aimed at a person's chi. While the technique was simple, it required immense skill to execute effectively. In Gu Yang's hands, however, the attack was far more refined. He added a twist to his movement, masking his true intent. His spear shot forward with the speed of a bolt of lightning, and all anyone saw was a streak of white light. Then, in the blink of an eye, the spear was already inches from the Black Crow Dragon Race leader's abdomen. The Black Crow Dragon Race leader was in a dazed state. He had narrowly escaped death thanks to his necklace, but it was in this moment of confusion that Gu Yang's next attack came. By the time the Black Crow Dragon Race leader tried to react, it was already too late. He made an attempt to block with his spear, but his defense was far too slow and unsteady. Black Crow Dragon Tail Pendulum. In front of Long Chen and the others' stunned gazes, the Black Crow Dragon Race leader turned his back on Gu Yang and aimed his butt directly at the incoming spear. Countless dragon scales appeared on top of his buttocks, forming a thick shield. Bang! The sharp tip of Gu Yang's spear pierced the shield of dragon scales and drove deep into his flesh. The entire battlefield fell silent. No one could believe what they were witnessing. Long Chun, along with the rest of the Dragonblood Legion, was dumbfounded. The spear had stabbed the Black Crow Dragon Race leader in the butt. That works, Long Chun muttered, his eyes wide with disbelief. The Black Crow Dragon Race leader screamed in pain and shot away. The onlookers watched as a spurt of blood burst from his left buttock, a clear and unmistakable hole where Gu Yang's dragon bone spear had struck. Long Chun almost laughed but quickly reined it in, recalling the attack. Gu Yang had fully concentrated his power onto the tip of his spear, so its destructive power was definitely immense. Yet, the Black Crow Dragon leader's thick scale shield had managed to absorb much of the blow. Although the injury appeared comical, it was undeniable that the Black Crow Dragon leader's defense was formidable. Without the powerful dragon spear, Gu Yang would have had a hard time breaking through that defense. Clenching his injured butt, the Black Crow Dragon Race leader shouted in pain. Friend and foe alike stared at him with a mixture of disbelief and suppressed laughter. Humph, your skin really is thick, Gu Yang sneered, looking at the bloodstain on the tip of his spear. I'll kill you, the Black Crow Dragon Race leader roared, his hair billowing around him crazily. The Black Crow Dragon Race leader suddenly jumped onto the head of the dragon image behind him, his true form. Now that he was one with it, his emperor might exploded. The dragon's body trembled as divine light surged from the tip of its tail, racing toward its head. Long Chen's eyes narrowed when he looked at this, recognizing it as an extraordinary divine technique. The dragon's immense power was being condensed into its head, amplifying its destructive potential. Gu Yang also saw this, but he had no intention of retreating. Behind him, his heavenly fate disc spun, unleashing a giant dragon that coiled around his arm before shrinking into a large rune. His arm thickened, muscles bulging and veins writhing like serpents beneath his skin. Black Crow Dragon Blood Slaughter. The Black Crow Dragon race leader roared, his spear blazing with light as the condensed divine power surged into it. The spear shot toward Gu Yang, carrying with it a rippling force so immense it felt as though the very air would shatter. Wild Dragon shakes the heavens. Gu Yang roared as he thrust his white-boned dragon spear forward to meet the full-powered strike of a half-step dragon emperor. Runes surged from his arm into the spear, igniting it with a blazing radiance. However, as the overwhelming energy coursed through him, the strain proved too much. His skin tore open, and blood gushed from his arm. Even so, his grip remained strong, refusing to falter under the immense power of his own attack. Boom! The collision of the two spear tips unleashed an explosion that rivaled the brilliance of a sun. Blinding light seared the eyes of the onlookers, stabbing into their vision like needles. The world suddenly became so white that nothing was visible. A deafening rumble followed, shaking the heavens as a shockwave blasted outward. The force sent countless figures flying. When the light finally dimmed and the battlefield came into view again, the crowd stared in disbelief. The Black Crow Dragon race leader stood panting, his face pale and ashen, blood dripping from the corners of his mouth. Despite his battered state, a sinister grin could be seen on his face. Gu Yang was nowhere to be seen, so the Black Crow Dragon race leader sneered maliciously. How does it feel to die without even leaving behind a corpse? Not bad. A cold snort rang out behind him. Gasps erupted from the crowd as they snapped toward the source of the voice. To their shock, Gu Yang stood directly behind the Black Crow Dragon race leader, bloodied but very much alive. His right arm hung limp, clearly injured from the exchange, but his left hand gripped the dragon's spear with unwavering steadiness. His expression was calm. The Black Crow Dragon race leader turned to face Gu Yang, but before he could react, Gu Yang swung the dragon bone spear down with ruthless precision, smashing it into his face. Who gave you permission to have such a filthy mouth? Gu Yang spat coldly. Crack. The sickening sound of breaking bones echoed as the Black Crow Dragon race leader's mouth caved in. Shattered teeth scattered across the battlefield like broken shards of glass. Everyone watching winced in unison. Many instinctively covered their mouths, as though they could feel the phantom pain themselves. Does the Black Crow Dragon race have any ability other than cursing people? Asked Gu Yang. Even as he spoke, his aura started to wane. The blood dripping from his wounds made it clear he had reached his limits. Blocking the previous devastating attack had drained him completely. However, no one dared to laugh at him. After all, he had just fought a race leader, a half-step dragon emperor. Die! Just then, the space behind Gu Yang distorted, revealing a figure that thrust its bone sword toward Gu Yang's back like a devil's fang. Bai Yingxue cried out, "The Shadow Dragon race." The Shadow Dragon race was also a branch of the Black Dragon race, but they were infamous for their mastery in stealth and ambush. Unlike other dragon races that relied on overwhelming strength, they specialized in sudden, explosive attacks, earning their reputation as the assassins of the dragon clans. Their hidden tactics made them notoriously difficult to counter. Yet, Gu Yang didn't even flinch as the bone sword neared his back. Instead, he sneered, "You're the one who's going to die." Just before the sword touched Gu Yang's back, a sinister black saber pierced the assassin's chest. This saber was continuously emitting black chi. Only after a moment did the stunned onlookers notice the figure standing behind the attacker, Long Chun, gripping Evil Moon with casual dominance. For the first time, everyone got a clear look at the would-be assassin. He was a short man whose unimpressive appearance belied his deadly craft. He stared down at the blade impaling him, his eyes filled with disbelief. A shadow dragon assassin had been caught off guard and ambushed instead. To sneak attack people in front of my boss? Just what were you thinking? Gu Yong asked as he slowly turned back, looking at the assassin disdainfully. Don't kill me, he begged. The plea sealed his fate. Evil Moon trembled in Long Chen's hand, and with a burst of dark energy, the assassin's body exploded into fragments. From the ranks of the dragon race came a furious roar. What arrogance! Humans, you've stolen the resonant dragon race's divine weapon, injured a race leader of the dragon domain, and now you've killed a disciple shadow dragon race. Don't think you'll leave in one piece. Long Chun responded with a cold laugh, his eyes sharp and unyielding. How laughable! Did you think I'd stop at one race leader? Summon every race leader in the dragon domain if you dare. Today, Boss Long San will teach you a proper lesson. Long Chun rested Evil Moon on his shoulder, looking at the countless dragon experts swarming over. He was like a god of slaughter overlooking the 9 heavens, just waiting for the killing to start. Long Chen's voice resounded throughout the land. He was standing in midair with Evil Moon in hand, its black chi roiling like the breath of hell. The Dragonblood Legion emerged from the White Dragon race's camp, forming a mighty wall behind Long Chun. All of them had their weapons out, ready for a battle. Their blood boiled with excitement. After all, each of them was a true warrior at heart. They were no saints. The grievances and slights they had endured these past few days were etched in their minds, unforgotten and unforgiven. Although the dragon race had given them their favor, it was not from those standing before them now. If Long Chun gave the order, the Dragonblood warriors would not hesitate to wipe them out now. At this moment, the White Dragon race's experts came to stand behind the Dragonblood Legion, tying their fates together. White Dragons, what do you think you're doing? Are you rebelling against the dragon domain? An elder amongst the resonant dragon race shouted, stepping forward. He wore a crown and violet gold divine armor, exuding extreme arrogance. He was the resonant dragon race leader, Ing Chongkong, and he was also a half-step dragon emperor. The intensity of his blood chi and emperor pressure far surpassed that of the Black Crow dragon race, marking him as a truly formidable expert. The Black Crow dragon race gathered behind Ing Chongkong and supported their own race leader. His jaw was shattered, leaving his mouth a gruesome, bloodied cavity. Tremors ran through his body, though it was unclear if they stemmed from rage or fear. His eyes burned with deep-seated hatred as they fixed on Long Chun and Gu Yong. Yet, Ing Chongkong didn't spare the Black Crow dragon race leader even a glance. The Black Crow dragon race had always acted as loyal followers to the resonant dragon race, one of their many subordinate allies. However, the resonant dragon race never viewed them importantly because they were simply too stupid and unreliable. However, since they were allies, the resonant dragon race couldn't help but tolerate their existence. Desperate to prove their worth, the Black Crow dragon race immediately carried out whatever orders the resonant dragon race gave them. They told themselves that they were the brave vanguard, but everyone in the dragon domain knew that the Black Crow dragon race was the dogs of the resonant dragon race. Over 10 other dragon races accompanied the resonant dragon race. In truth, they had arrived long ago but chose to silently observe from a distance. Only when the Black Crow dragon race leader was defeated did they reveal themselves. In front of the resonant dragon race's aggressive attitude, the White Dragon race leader said, "The dragon domain has long since strayed from what it once was. Rivers of blood flow endlessly as we fight amongst ourselves. Countless heavenly geniuses have fallen, their lives wasted for no purpose. Our internal strife has rotted the very roots of our strength, and even the soul of the dragon race has decayed. However, you all continue fighting happily as if you can't see it. In truth, the White Dragon race has long since wanted to leave the dragon domain and find our own place in the world. But now Long Chin has arrived. He represents the final hope for the dragon domain. The White Dragon race swears to follow him, even to the death. The final hope of the dragon domain? Ha 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 ha. Ing Kong burst into raucous laughter. The rest of the dragon race also laughed contemptuously at their statement. How can an inferior human become the hope of the dragon domain? Have you grown senile with old age? Ha ha ha. What a joke. Ha ha ha. Seeing that the air was full of the dragon race's laughter, Long Chun coldly replied, Foolish dragons, you all have completely thrown away what your ancestors left you. Your ancestors couldn't bear to watch their descendants squander everything, which is why they entrusted their teachings to us, the human race. And yet, you have the audacity to laugh? Earlier, I watched the Black Crow dragon race leader use his butt as a shield. The thickness of his butt was astonishing. But now, I see that the skin on your face is even thicker. The dragon's laughter came to an abrupt halt, their expressions frozen in indignation. Meanwhile, the Dragonblood warriors almost burst into laughter. As expected of their boss, this counterattack was truly sharp. One of the opposing race leaders threateningly shouted, What did you just say? What, you don't accept it? It's not like you're blind. Did you not see that Gu Yang's attack was a divine ability of the dragon race? A human used one of the dragon race's divine abilities to defeat a true race leader of the dragon race. Instead of being embarrassed, you have the face to laugh? All right, keep going, said Long Chin. The mocking laughter immediately died. Their faces turned ashen as the truth settled in, and none of them could muster a retort. They looked down on humans, viewing them as inferior. However, a heaven-sent human they looked down upon had defeated a half-step dragon emperor. Countless dragons glared at the Black Crow dragon race leader, their eyes filled with anger and disdain. He was practically the humiliation of the dragon race. The Black Crow dragon race leader had been blazing with killing intent, but now he was flabbergasted. Humph! It was only a moment of carelessness. Don't turn luck into something absolute, snorted a dragon expert. Just how thick does your face need to be to say such a thing? Let me tell you, your dragon race's ancestral souls are staring at their unfilial descendants from our bodies. You say it's luck? Then let's fight again. If we win, all of you will kneel and concede. And if we win? Asked one person sinisterly. If you win, we'll offer our heads, Long Chun declared coldly. Do you dare? The white dragon race's experts tensed at his crazy gamble, staring at him in astonishment. Such a gamble was almost unthinkable. And yet, Long Chen's words carried absolute conviction. The humans are full of petty schemes. Do you think we're stupid enough to fall for one of your tricks? Ing Kong sneered. Besides, what right do you have to challenge us to such a wager? Clearly, they didn't dare. Everyone knew that the Black Crow dragon race was unreliable. No matter what, they couldn't do this. Ing Kong, if you don't dare to gamble, then just say it. There's no need to make up excuses. Otherwise, even the human race will look down on you. The sudden voice drew everyone's attention. After that, a new group of figures appeared on the scene, their presence suffused with dark energy that seemed to dim the surrounding light. The evil dragon race. Long Chun narrowed his eyes slightly. These dragons possessed dark energy. The air around them felt corrupted, the unmistakable mark of the evil dragon race. These dragons bore a connection to Dragonbone Evilmoon's origins. However, since obtaining its new body, Evilmoon's aura had transformed entirely. Humph! Lucky for them, it's the Gold-Eye Evil Dragon race. Otherwise, I'd slaughter them all. I refuse to let myself be shamed like this, Evil Moon remarked in Long Chen's mind, its tone dripping with disdain. At this moment, the evil dragon race's group came to stand before all of them. Their leader's golden eyes gleamed as they swept over Long Chen, a calculating glint in their depths. Little fellow, you're not bad, he said with an approving nod. You've got guts and a sharp mind. How about you join my evil dragon race? His words sent shockwaves through the gathering. Even Ing Kong and his allies looked visibly shaken, their expressions twisting in a mix of disbelief and outrage. Without missing a beat, Long Chen's reply rang out loud and clear. Scram! The Gold-Eye Evil Dragon race had long been at odds with the Resonant Dragon race. Seeing Long Chen opposing their sworn enemies, the Gold-Eye Evil Dragon race attempted to recruit him. However, Long Chen's blunt response soured their expressions, erasing any trace of friendliness from their race leader's face. His smile twisted into a cold snarl. "Little fellow, you don't know how to appreciate kindness," said the race leader coldly. "Kindness? Do you think Boss Long San wants the kindness of you soft-boned fools?" sneered Long Chun. "Who are you calling soft-boned?" the race leader retorted. In truth, the Gold-Eye Evil Dragon race had always been known as an unbridled and untamed bunch within the dragon domain, doing as they pleased without fear of consequence. It was this very temperament that had made them mortal enemies of the resonant dragon race. Amidst the chaos of the dragon domain, many factions vied for leadership. However, most were comparatively conservative, lacking the relentless aggression displayed by the resonant dragon race and the evil dragon race. Amongst them, 8 factions wanted to become the new leader of the dragon domain, wishing to unify the dragon domain. They were incredibly powerful and had many allies. Despite all that, they were very cautious, simply waiting for the right opportunity. On the other hand, the evil dragon race had repeatedly clashed with the resonant dragon race. The resonant dragon race was the first to declare their intent to unify the dragon domain and ascend as its new king. In response, the evil dragon race boldly countered, stating that while unification was inevitable, the title of ruler would belong to them. Thus, a ferocious conflict erupted between the two factions. While the evil dragon race held the upper hand in raw strength, the resonant dragon race had amassed a powerful alliance, balancing the scales and plunging the dragon domain into an intense, drawn-out war. The other dragon races knew that the situation was dire. The leader, sovereign dragon race, had not appeared in ages. Without its guidance, the domain splintered like loose sand. Its fracture was an undeniable reality. At this moment, the stronger dragon races started forming their own alliances. After all, the dragons were all proud beings, and none were willing to submit to anyone else, all except for the sovereign dragon race. As a result, 8 major factions formed, each vying for dominance in the dragon domain. However, the power balance among these factions was too close for any single group to gain a decisive edge. This stalemate led to prolonged and bitter conflict, with countless years of pointless fighting. No faction could secure the trust or allegiance of the entire dragon domain. Instead, the dragon domain descended into greater chaos as the casualties piled up. Amid this turmoil, a single exception stood apart: the conservative faction led by the white dragon race. They refused to join this senseless battle. Thus, they stood alongside the white dragon race. With the white dragon race's protection, they could avoid too much trouble. The arrival of Long Chun in the dragon domain sent ripples throughout its factions. All 8 major powers began observing him from the shadows, each trying to gauge his potential and intent. In the end, the Gold-Eye Evil Dragon race leader felt that their chance had come and wanted to pull Long Chun to his side. However, Long Chun rejected him harshly. The dragon race has always relied on strength. When did it stoop to forming gangs and scheming against itself? The evil dragon race is hailed as the peerless monarchs of evil among dragons. Even evil has its Tao. But what is your Tao? Long Chen's words carried an icy disdain as he snorted at the leader. The Gold-Eye Evil Dragon race leader was a powerful half-step dragon emperor, but he was left speechless by Long Chun. In fact, he was so shaken by Long Chen's imposing manner that he involuntarily took a step back. What shook him even more was Long Chen's insight. The evil dragon race had indeed been the lords of evil among the dragon race, answering only to the sovereign dragon race. Their unyielding nature was legendary, and even under the command of the sovereigns, they had clashed countless times. These battles had left them bloodied, but their defiance was etched into the annals of dragon history. Although each time they took a heavy loss, looking through the dragon race's history, just how many races had dared to challenge the sovereign dragon race? The evil dragon race's ferocious pride surpassed that of any other dragon race. It was this pride that made Long Chen's words sting them with a deep sense of shame. If you wish to compete with others, then fight. If you can't beat them, then soak the battlefield with your blood. When did the evil dragon race stoop so low to seeking helpers? Worse yet, you've even looked outside the dragon race. The evil dragon race has been utterly disgraced by you, mocked Long Chun, practically spitting on the evil dragon race leader. These words weren't entirely his own. They came from Evil Moon. After all, it was once a member of the evil dragon race. Though Evil Moon had lost its identity over time, it still retained its deep-seated disdain for the betrayal of the evil dragon race's ethos. As curses flowed through Long Chen's mouth, the gold-eye evil dragon race leader gritted his teeth, but couldn't retort, shame and fury painting his face. Suddenly, he let out a thunderous roar. Fuck off! Everyone who isn't from the evil dragon race, get the hell out of here. This fellow is right. The evil dragon race doesn't need helpers. The dragon experts who had allied themselves with the evil dragon race were stunned. Without hesitation, the gold-eye evil dragon race leader swung his sleeve, sending out a gust of wind that blew them back. Seeing the veins throbbing on his forehead, none of them dared to say a word. They all left the gold-eye evil dragon race's camp and retreated into the distance. After sending them away, the gold-eye evil dragon race leader looked at Long Chun. Through gritted teeth, he growled, "Your words really pissed me off. By all rights, I should kill you for that. But a brilliant martial god like myself wouldn't stoop to killing someone just out of anger. Even though you're cursing me, I can still see the logic in your words." Long Chun. The sheer audacity of this statement left Long Chun speechless. The rest of the Dragonblood Legion was equally dumbfounded, as were the other experts across the dragon domain who had witnessed the exchange. Long Chen's eyes burned with incredulity as he stared at the gold-eye evil dragon race leader. The bizarre twist in the conversation rendered him at a loss for words. Meanwhile, the resonant dragon race leader couldn't help but smile. Whether this fool of a rival had gone insane or not was irrelevant to him. This was an excellent opportunity to win more allies. "What are you smiling at? Are you trying to prostitute yourself?" Cursed two voices at the same time. Seeing Ying Changkong's smile, Long Chun seethed with anger and cursed him. But to his astonishment, the gold-eye evil dragon race leader hurled the same insult at the exact same time. When the words were out, both Long Chun and the evil dragon leader froze, staring at each other in mutual shock. Who would have imagined they'd be on the same wavelength in their choice of curses? "Are you trying to start a war here?" Ying Changkong's expression darkened at being insulted by both of them. Fury surged in him, and with a wave of his hand, a dragon spear materialized in his grip. The air trembled as a terrifying emperor-level pressure erupted from him like an unstoppable volcano. "If you want a war, we'll have a war. This little fellow is correct. The great evil dragon race are the dragon race's bravest warriors. We fear neither failure nor death. I've long since disliked looking at you. Come, we'll settle things once and for all." The gold-eye evil dragon race shouted, his eyes flickering with an ominous light. The next moment, a black saber appeared in his hand. A golden streak ran along the blade's edge, radiating sharp killing intent that locked onto Ying Changkong. "This goddamn—" Ying Changkong's retort was directed at Long Chun, but to his shock, the gold-eye evil dragon race leader accepted the retort instead. Ying Changkong regarded the evil dragon race leader as a hot-headed idiot, but he couldn't deny the brute's power. Perhaps due to his simple mind, the evil dragon race leader had funneled all his focus into cultivation. While Ying Changkong wasn't afraid of him, he also couldn't say that he would win against this idiot. Today, Ying Changkong's primary enemy was Long Chun. Yet, this idiot couldn't even grasp that fact, forcing Ying Changkong into an impossible situation where retreat wasn't an option. He had no idea how to respond. Furious, Ying Changkong's face darkened as he bellowed, "Xie Qianzhong, you idiot! This is the dragon domain. We should be united against outsiders." However, Xie Qianzhong had stopped listening the moment he heard the word, idiot. With bloodshot eyes, he roared back, "You're the idiot. Your whole family are idiots. If you have guts, come out and fight me right now. You fucking—" Ying Changkong nearly spat blood in frustration. Xie Qianzhong looked deranged, and fighting a madman like him would be nothing short of a nightmare. The Dragonblood warriors couldn't suppress their laughter, and even Bai Shirshir chuckled. Long Chun truly had a knack for stirring people's emotions. With just a few words, he had ignited Xie Qianzhong's pride and shame, leaving him desperate to defend the honor of the evil dragon race. It seemed that Xie Qianzhong intended to use Ying Chongkong as his proving ground. Watching Ying Chongkong rage so hard he seemed on the verge of spitting blood, Bai Shirshir sighed inwardly. Boss Longsan is truly Boss Longsan. None of his enemies ever have an easy time. Suddenly, Ying Chongkong roared, "Are you done watching? Shouldn't it be time for you to come out?" The dragon domain belongs to the entire dragon race. Its rise and fall relates to every member of the dragon race. Are you going to cower like tortoises for the rest of your lives? This outburst wasn't aimed at Xie Qianzhong but at the dragon experts lurking in the distance. It was a clever move to divert the focus away from himself, subtly tying their shared hatred of Long Chun to the situation. For a moment, it seemed Ying Chongkong wasn't as foolish as he appeared. "I thought that your resonant dragon race wanted to be the boss of the dragon domain? So you'll be the boss when you want to, but when there's actual trouble you're gonna hide behind others," mocked Long Chun. Long Chun naturally wouldn't give up the chance to humiliate his enemy. The resonant dragon race was colluding with Pill Valley, and the chaos in the dragon domain was likely a direct result of their scheme. This little brother from the human race is correct. If you can't even resolve the smallest trouble, what right do you have to control the dragon domain? A cold, mocking voice rang out, drawing everyone's attention. Long Chun turned to see a graceful woman step forward. She wore tight-fitting black attire that accentuated her long legs and flawless figure. She appeared to be in her 30s, exuding a mature allure that young maidens simply couldn't match. Her beauty was breathtaking, long, deep-set eyes and a figure that could ignite a fire in anyone who looked too long. She seemed like a ripe, poisonous peach, inviting yet dangerous. Even Long Chun couldn't help but give her a second look, but he suddenly had a bad feeling. His divine sense stealthily reached back. As expected, Bai Shirshir's eyes were locked onto him, so he hastily put on an indifferent expression. This woman came with countless dragon experts, the majority being from the black dragon race. It was a stunning lineup. "Mo Ying, what are you trying to say?" Ying Chongkong's voice turned cold. "You think I can't handle this? I called you out of respect, not because I needed help." Mo Ying was the leader of the black dragon race. Among the black dragon race, the surnames were flexible, tied more to symbolism than lineage. Names like He, for black, or Mo, for ink, were common choices in the clan. She was a powerhouse, a half-step dragon emperor like Ying Chongkong and Xie Qianzhong. While they had never clashed outright, their subtle probing over the years had revealed their equal footing. At Ying Chongkong's words, Mo Ying's lips curled into a sardonic smile. Her narrowed eyes glinted with mischief as she assessed Long Chun. Then she turned back to Ying Chongkong. Mo Ying asked, "Oh, is that so? I feel like this little brother is very powerful, and you can't beat him. How about this? If you can beat him, my black dragon race will forever follow your resonant dragon race." Her words sent a ripple of shock through the crowd. Factions that had been hiding in the shadows revealed themselves, their leaders exchanging alarmed glances. The dragon domain's balance of power was maintained by the delicate equilibrium among its 8 major factions. If the black dragon race were to ally with the resonant dragon race, that balance would shatter, plunging the domain into chaos and bloodshed. This little witch. Long Chun was surprised as this woman was not ordinary. She seemed to have noticed something. Mo Ying wasn't just strong. She was dangerously shrewd. Her seemingly casual proposition had already thrown the dragon domain into turmoil. He scanned the gathered leaders and felt certain that none of them, even combined, could match her intellect. "Really? Do you dare swear on your dragon soul?" Ying Chongkong asked eagerly, his delight evident. Long Chun nearly groaned aloud. This is the leader of the resonant dragon race? He can't see he's walking straight into a trap? Perhaps he had consumed too much of Pill Valley's fake medicine over the years, leaving his head muddled. How could someone this clueless lead a race? He was basically jumping into a pit of fire. Of course, Moing replied smoothly, raising her hand to form a strange seal. I swear, I will not allow it. A cold, commanding voice cut through the tension, halting her oath mid-sentence. At this moment, an elder walked forward. He was tall and muscular, with fiery red hair that seemed to blaze with its own heat. His resonant and commanding voice rang out like a great bell across the air. Though he withheld his aura, the sheer intensity of his presence caused the surrounding space to ripple and twist, exuding a suffocating heat. From behind the elder, Long Chun spotted Qi Yunxiao within the Scarlet Dragon camp. He instantly identified the elder as the leader of the Scarlet Dragon race. The Scarlet Dragon race leader said, "The arrival of the human youngsters has thrown the dragon domain into utter chaos, and we cannot continue as is. Is the dragon domain supposed to keep fighting until it finally collapses and cannot recover? My only fear is that your death will be truly miserable. When that time comes, none of us will be able to safeguard what we hold dear. The only ones who will benefit are the outsiders." Countless dragon experts nodded at his words. Their dragon domain had been walking the path of decline after so many years of infighting. Although the dragon domain was still chaotic, there was a precarious balance that was being maintained. If the balance were shattered, it would trigger a blood-soaked battle that the dragon domain might never recover from. Moing smiled slightly at the Scarlet Dragon race leader. Everything was within her expectations. Not saying anything, she kept watching. "Hold it. I endured your insults at first, but you just said that we had thrown the dragon domain into chaos? Fuck, you really are shameless. Do you even have the face to say such a thing?" demanded Long Chun. Long Chun was definitely not being polite, but it was also a fact that the dragon domain's chaos had nothing to do with him. How many tens of thousands of years had passed with them in this state? How did they end up blaming him for it? The Scarlet Dragon race leader bristled with anger at Long Chen's impudent questioning. As a leader of one of the 8 major factions, he commanded immense respect and authority. Even the other faction leaders treated him with basic deference, let alone a junior like Long Chun. After forcibly suppressing his anger, he said, "Perhaps I misspoke earlier. The dragon domain has indeed been in chaos for a long time. But since the arrival of your human race, that chaos has intensified. That is an undeniable fact. That's your problem, not ours." Long Chun shot back without hesitation. "We crossed the endless desolation to reach the heaven essence world. By your logic, the moment we arrived, we became the cause of all the chaos in the heaven essence world too. Ridiculous. You're twisting my words," said the Scarlet Dragon race leader angrily. Long Chun mocked. "Twisting your words? Those are your words. When did the mighty dragon race start playing dumb and blaming others for their failures? And coming from a race leader, no less? How pathetic. No wonder the junior generation of the dragon race has arrogance in their demeanor but none in their bones. They've clearly learned that from you old fossils. Cowardly, spineless, and completely lacking any sense of responsibility. The dragon race has declined to this state because of leaders like you." "Shut your mouth!" the Scarlet Dragon race leader roared, his voice like a thunderous tsunami exploding in people's ears. "Oh, so now you're going to rely on your big throat? If a loud voice were a measure of strength, donkeys would have long since taken over the world," mocked Long Chun. He wasn't just being provocative. Long Chun knew he held an unmatched trump card. With the primal chaos dragon sovereign's backing, no one here could challenge him. If he chose to act, they would fall. "You," the Scarlet Dragon race leader muttered, gritting his teeth furiously. His hair stood on end like prickly needles, and his fists creaked as they clenched, trembling with seething rage. "What, you want to bite me now? Did I say anything wrong?" Long Chun taunted. "The dragon domain state is the result of every dragon here having a hand in it. But the ones most responsible are the leaders like you. Your failure to manage the chaos has led to countless bodies littering the wilderness. You let them rot while the dragon domain tears itself apart. Instead of stopping the infighting, you allow it to fester, grinding away at your own people's strength. While your race decays, you've done nothing to change it, and yet you still have the gall to roar at me. Who gave you the right? By the end of his words, Long Chun was furious. His dragon blood power erupted, and a wave of dragon might surged outward with his voice. The intensity of his roar carried through the air, reverberating long after it had faded. The Scarlet Dragon race leader had been seething with fury, but this roar shook his soul. The ancient, majestic power behind it was overwhelming, like the cry of an ancient sovereign. From top to bottom, everyone in the dragon domain was shaken by this roar, and a sense of shame automatically flowed out of them. As dragons, who among them didn't yearn for the unification of the dragon domain? But none of them had the power to change its fate. They could only watch as the dragon domain descended further into chaos, a situation that left them feeling conflicted and sick at heart. Their helplessness felt worse than death itself. Yet, despite their inner turmoil, they kept their silence, too embarrassed to speak. Now Long Chun had exposed their deepest shame, and not a single one of them dared to respond. Even the Scarlet Dragon race leader, who had been brimming with anger moments ago, found himself unable to meet Long Chen's gaze. His silence was an admission of defeat. Mo Ying, Xie Qianzhong, and the other race leaders wore complex expressions. Long Chun had laid bare a truth they could not deny. What could they do about it? This was a problem that had festered within the dragon domain for countless years. Unless the sovereign dragon race made its return, there was no hope of fixing it. And even if the sovereign dragon race did return, their power might not be enough to subdue the fractured factions that had long since freed themselves from the restraint. The dragon domain was beyond saving, at least not without a monumental shift in power. No matter how you spin it, this is a matter for the dragon race to resolve. The human race has no place in this. Ing Chong Kong sneered, breaking the uncomfortable silence. Long Chun directly pointed and cursed, "Traitor of the dragon domain, shut your mouth. You are the main culprit of the dragon domain's chaos." Mo Ying, Xie Qianzhong, and the other race leaders all turned to look at Ing Chong Kong. Traitors of the dragon domain? All the dragon experts turned their gazes toward the resonant dragon race, their gazes sharp. In an instant, the resonant dragon race's experts tensed, and they clenched their weapons vigilantly. "What nonsense are you spouting? Who are you calling the traitors of the dragon domain?" roared Ing Chong Kong. Chuckling, Long Chun replied, "Why so panicked? I never said who the traitors were. I was just testing you. But look at yourselves, sweating and channeling power into your legs. Are you planning to flee?" The surrounding dragon experts glanced at the resonant dragon race and noticed the truth in Long Chen's words. The higher-ups of the resonant dragon race were visibly tense, their postures implying a readiness for battle or retreat. Many of them were channeling power into their feet. While this alone wasn't proof of guilt, it did raise suspicions, especially given the resonant dragon race's known ties to the Brahma Pill Valley. Everyone knew they were the first dragon race to purchase medicinal pills from Pill Valley. Thanks to those pills, the resonant dragon race's strength had surged, elevating them from a second-rate power to one of the top factions in the dragon domain. They had also roped in quite a few helpers along the way. However, they had sworn a blood oath that their dealings with the Brahma Pill Valley would be limited strictly to medicinal pills, with no involvement in other activities. Despite this pledge, the rapid rise of their power drew envy from the other factions. Many dragon race elders were very conservative, wary of relying too heavily on external aids like medicinal pills. While the younger experts could consume medicinal pills, they definitely could not grow dependent on them. After all, the dragon race's constitutions were different from the human race's. For them, consuming a large number of medicinal pills was like drinking poison to quench thirst, and it was very likely to affect their future. As a result, the other factions implemented strict bans on pill consumption, expelling any disciples found violating this rule. This unwavering stance formed a bottom line that could not be crossed. Because of this, the resonant dragon race was at odds with many other dragons. Yet, their growing strength and expanding network of subordinates discouraged the remaining 7 major factions from directly confronting them. Only the evil dragon race remained unyielding and continued to fight them. However, they were never able to shake the resonant dragon race. Although many factions viewed the resonant dragon race with disdain, the notion of betrayal had never seriously crossed their minds, until now. The reaction from the resonant dragon race's higher-ups was excessively defensive, while their ordinary members remained relatively unaffected. This stark contrast naturally raised suspicions. It hinted that those in power might be hiding something, and though there was no definitive proof, the unease within the other factions only grew. You? Ing Chongkong glared at Long Chun furiously and roared. Calling us traitors of the dragon domain is a major offense. It could lead to our extermination. Who wouldn't be nervous under such scrutiny? His words made the onlookers nod slightly. The dragon race had an almost fanatical hatred for traitors, and such a label carried grave consequences. For anyone to be rattled under such accusations was, indeed, understandable. However, Long Chun simply smiled, looking at Ing Chongkong with a sharp gaze. If you put it like that, then there's nothing for me to say. Whether or not the resonant dragon race was guilty of betrayal wasn't something Long Chun could confirm outright. However, the evidence surrounding them was enough to arouse suspicion. Ing Tianhua was a genius of the resonant dragon race and had shown up in the Brahma Pill Valley's camp, so their relationship could not be ordinary. What stood out most was the lack of secrecy. Ing Tianhua's blatant affiliation with the Brahma Pill Valley indicated that he wasn't concerned about the others finding out about it. Since Long Chun was familiar with how the Brahma Pill Valley did things, he was naturally suspicious of the resonant dragon race, which was why he had said such a thing. Yet the reaction it provoked exceeded his expectations. As he suspected, the dragon race wasn't adept at concealing their emotions. Their reactions were written all over their faces. Who was Long Chun, after all? He had encountered countless crafty and deceitful individuals and could see through a facade with ease. The overly defensive response from the resonant dragon race's leaders only solidified his doubts. Long Chun let his eyes drift over the gathered race leaders. Xie Qianzhong, the Scarlet Dragon race leader, and several others wore grave expressions, clearly mulling over the implications. Only Mo Ing remained calm, her expression flat. Long Chen's heart shook. It was evident to him now. Mo Ing had been aware of the resonant dragon race's dubious ties for some time. Her ability to conceal her thoughts so flawlessly was quite something. Meanwhile, Ing Chongkong's frustration boiled over. Under the weight of the others' scrutinizing stares, his composure shattered. The more he tried to explain himself, the more suspicious he seemed. But if he didn't, it would also raise suspicions. You damn fools! The dragon domain does not welcome you. Get the hell out right now! Shouted Ing Chongkong. His only hope was to drive Long Chun and his group away, to end this confrontation before it spiraled further. The sooner they left the dragon domain, the less damage would be done. The dragon domain does not belong to you. Why should they leave just because you want them to? We haven't resolved our issues or gotten to the bottom of things. They can't leave yet, replied Xie Qianzhong. It seems Xie Qianzhong had also sensed something amiss, though he didn't openly state it. Instead, he deliberately opposed Ing Chongkong, ensuring Long Chun would stay. Although I dislike him, he cannot leave yet. We must resolve our issue first, added the Scarlet Dragon race leader. He didn't say what the exact issue was, but in any case he wanted Long Chun to stay so that they could discuss things first. This little brother is very handsome. I'd like to look at him more as well, said Mo Ing with a smile, expressing her own desire to keep him here. With 3 of the 8 major factions already supporting Long Chen's stay, the remaining leaders eventually expressed their agreement. The consensus was clear: Long Chun would not be leaving yet. In the end, only the resonant dragon race wanted to expel him, and the others wanted to have him stay. Ing Chongkong gnashed his teeth and led his people away with a dark expression. Before leaving, Xie Qianzhong turned to Long Chun, his expression fierce but his words unexpectedly earnest. Long Chun, right? You're incredibly dislikable, but I can't deny your reasoning. Don't worry. As long as you bear no ill will toward the dragon race, I, Xie Qianzhong, will risk my life to protect you. The surrounding experts stared in disbelief. This temperamental fellow usually refused to listen to anyone, but after being cursed by Long Chun, he started treating him so well? Perhaps there was something wrong with his brain. "Let us return to the White Dragon Race's camp first," said the White Dragon Race leader. Long Chun agreed, and under countless watchful gazes, he left alongside the White Dragon Race. Deep in the Dragon Domain, in the resonant Dragon Race's 10,000 dragon nest, Ing Chong Kong came to a secluded room. "Patriarch, a new problem has appeared," he reported grimly, his face shadowed with worry. Within the eerie confines of the 10,000 dragon nest, a wizened figure stirred in the shadows. His voice, raspy and grating like sand scraping against stone, responded to Ing Chong Kong's hurried approach. "What happened?" Ing Chong Kong bowed deeply, his tone filled with urgency. "Today, a brat from the human race." As he detailed the events involving Long Chan and the growing suspicions of betrayal, the elder remained silent for a moment before speaking. "You're saying they've grown suspicious?" "Most likely," Ing Chong Kong admitted bitterly. "That brat accused us of betraying the Dragon Domain. My incompetent subordinates may have reacted poorly, revealing more than they should have. I believe we may need to carry out our plans ahead of time." The elder was silent for a moment before replying, "We can't decide this alone. Send words discreetly. Remember, it must be absolutely secret. Use a method that we haven't used before." "Understood," Ing Chong Kong replied hastily, sensing the gravity of the situation. Their usual means of communication were clearly compromised. The elder's tone turned stern. "And do not panic. Keep your composure. We must wait for Pill Valley's guidance. Without their support, our chances of success are minimal. Acting rashly would only doom us, even if we succeeded." "Yes." After a brief pause, the elder asked, "This human? His name is Long Chun? He seems problematic." "Yes. To me, his aura seems on par with those sealed monsters," said Ing Chong Kong gravely. The elder's skeletal frame stiffened. "Comparable to them? Are you sure? Those beings are peerless geniuses, nurtured by the primal chaos laws themselves." Ing Chong Kong hesitated but replied firmly, "He may be slightly weaker, but not by much." The elder's tone darkened. "The laws of heaven and earth are no longer what they once were. The spiritual chi has thinned too much to nurture another genius of that caliber. Yet you say he possesses dragon blood? And even a trace of sovereign might? If his lineage ties to the true sovereign dragon race, then he indeed carries some extraordinary secrets." The elder's muttering seemed more to himself, leaving Ing Chong Kong uncertain how to respond. After a moment, the elder dismissed his musings. "Whatever his secrets, they will not interfere with our plans. Keep him alive for now. He may prove useful later." Ing Chong Kong bowed again. "I understand, but I'm concerned he may reveal his suspicions to the White Dragon Race. They appear close." The elder snorted disdainfully. "Let him talk. Changes nothing. Our plans are already in motion. When we succeed, the entire Dragon Domain will kneel before us, and the resonant Dragon Race will reign supreme. They'll have no choice but to submit." "Then are we just going to keep an eye on them?" probed Ing Chong Kong. The elder nodded and replied, "Mobilize all our eyes, both within the Dragon Domain and beyond. Monitor every move but do not act prematurely. The Dragon Domain is already ours. It's only a matter of time." After receiving his orders, Ing Chong Kong slowly retreated. Once he left, the elder slowly turned back. His withered face resembled a dried corpse, and his skin was as fragile as parchment. A glowing talisman, bearing the vivid red Brahma Immortal character, rested on his forehead. If Long Chun were present, he would definitely jump in shock. This Brahma character was vivid and bright red, flowing with divine energy. With a sinister smile, the elder muttered, "Once I finish absorbing this divine rune's power, everyone in the Dragon Domain will have no choice but to submit to me." Long Chun entered the White Dragon Race's territory along with the leaders of the other major factions. Other than the resonant dragon race, the others had all come. Other than the leaders of these 7 factions, the rest stayed outside. As a result, the outer region of the White Dragon race's territory was packed with experts, causing the atmosphere to tense up. Long Chen barely had a moment to exchange words with his companions before being ushered into the palace. Inside, only the strongest race leaders of the dragon domain were present. Lesser leaders and followers waited outside, leaving the room charged with authority. Even Bai Yingxue and the others had to wait outside, leaving only Long Chen and the elite leaders inside. The White Dragon race leader hurriedly arranged seating, laying out 9 bamboo mats on the floor. Without a hint of ceremony, Long Chen casually claimed a spot before anyone else. "You really lack manners," snorted the Scarlet Dragon race leader. "If manners mean so much to you, feel free to stand." Long Chen shot back nonchalantly. "But don't mistake this for your home. Look around, this is White Dragon territory. Understand? This land belongs to the White Dragon race." He repeated himself deliberately, as if ensuring the Scarlet Dragon race leader grasped his point. "I'm not deaf," the Scarlet Dragon race leader roared, his face flushing with anger. Seeing the Scarlet Dragon race leader turn red from anger so easily, Moing couldn't help but chuckle. To laugh in this tense atmosphere was truly lacking decorum, so she hastily turned away. However, her shoulders were shaking with the effort to stifle her amusement. The Scarlet Dragon race leader's expression darkened further, his teeth grinding audibly as he struggled to control his fury. Seeing this, the White Dragon race leader tried to calm things down. "Race leader Qi Yun, please calm yourself. Long Chen is still young. Don't let him get under your skin." After that, he turned to Long Chen and said, "Long Chen, race leader Qi Yun is actually a good man. He just has a temper. You should also be more polite. Also, you may have some misconceptions about the Dragon Domain's factions. They weren't formed to control the Dragon Domain, but to maintain balance and shield others from the dominance of the resonant dragon race. The situation has escalated in ways no one anticipated. Truly, every leader here has the Dragon Domain's best interests at heart." Long Chen's sharp expression softened slightly at the explanation. Then he said, "To be honest, I'm also a good person." Before he could finish, Moing, who had barely regained her composure, burst into laughter again. Race leader Moing, the Scarlet Dragon race leader, furiously stood up. Sorry, I'm not doing it on purpose. Please, continue." Moing apologized, struggling to suppress her laughter. Normally, Moing was composed during serious occasions, but she found herself unable to rein in her amusement today. Everything Long Chen said seemed to tickle her, and the harder she tried not to laugh, the more difficult it became. Embarrassed, she glanced away, cheeks flushed with the effort to compose herself. The Scarlet Dragon race leader's name was Qi Yun. Despite his name containing the Yun character, often associated with gentleness and softness, his temperament was anything but gentle. Mo Ying's apology barely helped him rein in his simmering anger. Turning his sharp gaze back to Long Chen, Qi Yun demanded, "Speak, where did you obtain your dragon blood? And what ulterior motives do you have for coming to the dragon domain? Do you think this is an interrogation? Your attitude is no good. We are supposed to be speaking as equals, so I decline to answer," Long Chen replied, shaking his head. "You?" Qi Yun pointed at Long Chen, quivering with rage. The fact that he didn't curse Long Chen was already very impressive considering how enraged he was. Speaking like this was already a display of calmness for him. After all, he didn't speak this nicely even to his children or the higher-ups of the Scarlet Dragon race. However, this fellow was still dissatisfied. One of the race leaders seemed to lose his patience. Standing up, he roared, "As I see it, you are intentionally trying to cause trouble. You clearly..." Pow! Before he could finish, Long Chen's hand struck with blinding speed, delivering a resounding slap that echoed through the palace. The force shook the entire structure, and the Bone Dragon race leader, who had spoken, tumbled to the ground. All the race leaders were stunned. No one had expected Long Chun to act so boldly or so violently. He had slapped the leader of the Bone Dragon race, one of the Dragon Domain's most formidable factions. The Bone Dragon race was an unconventional member of the Dragon race. While other dragons focused their cultivation on the chi, blood, and soul, the Bone Dragons concentrated all their power into their bones instead. Some even lacked dragon cores, channeling that energy into their bones. As a result, in terms of raw physical strength, they ranked among the top 10 within the dragon race since ancient times. Yet their leader, a half-step dragon emperor, had just been effortlessly slapped to the ground. As the Bone Dragon race leader roared and leaped back to his feet, ready to retaliate, the icy edge of a saber pressed against his temple. Long Chun moved like a phantom, each step unpredictable. Before anyone could react, he was in complete control of the situation. Evil Moon poised threateningly against his opponent's head. "Young friend Long Chun, don't be impetuous," said the White Dragon race leader hastily. Though Bai Yingxue and others had warned him about Long Chun's audacity and unpredictable temper, the White Dragon race leader hadn't expected him to escalate matters this far, or this quickly. When Long Chun struck, it was with the force of a thunderclap. If he truly killed the Bone Dragon race leader, the entire dragon domain would plunge into chaos and bloodshed. Long Chun pointed Evil Moon right at the Bone Dragon race leader's temple and patted his furious face. "If you believe me, then shut your mouth and listen closely. If not, then fuck off. But don't constantly slander me, okay?" declared Long Chun. The Bone Dragon race leader's teeth ground audibly, his fists trembling with barely contained fury. Yet, his life hung by a thread, and his formidable strength meant nothing in this moment. He wasn't blind, he could see that Long Chun was a madman. Only someone utterly reckless would dare to act so brazenly in the dragon domain. Slapping a race leader in front of their peers wasn't just an insult to one faction. It was a slap in the face of the entire dragon domain. Whether or not Long Chun killed the Bone Dragon race leader, there was no way he could leave the dragon domain alive. Hence, despite his overflowing rage, the Bone Dragon race leader didn't dare to argue with this madman. Around them, the other race leaders wore similarly grim expressions. While the slap hadn't landed on them directly, this action was an insult to all of them. The White Dragon race leader was the only one not insulted, but he was panicking, to the point that sweat rolled down his forehead. He had heard plenty about Long Chun's fiery temperament, especially his disdain for threats, but witnessing it firsthand was entirely different. His mind raced as he tried to think of a way to defuse the situation, but he couldn't find any words to say. The palace fell into a heavy silence. Apart from the White Dragon race leader, no one else dared to speak. Long Chun finally broke the quiet, casting a derisive glance at the Bone Dragon race leader. "I know you're not convinced. You think this was a sneak attack because you weren't ready. Fine. I won't kill you." He smirked, then stepped back, withdrawing Evil Moon and returning to his seat as if nothing had happened. "Die!" The moment Long Chun withdrew his saber, the Bone Dragon race leader roared. His aura surged like a tidal wave, and his sharp claws slashed through the air toward Long Chun with the force of lightning. Boom! Before his attack could land, a graceful hand intercepted his strike with a resounding crash, sending him stumbling backward. "Mo-ing, what do you think you're doing?" roared the Bone Dragon race leader when he saw who it was. "We still haven't gotten to the root of the problem." "You can't kill him yet," said Mo-ing coldly. "He clearly harbors evil intentions. He is insulting and humiliating the dragon race. Are you seriously willing to tolerate this?" roared the Bone Dragon race leader. "No matter what, we must discuss this properly before taking action," Mo-ing replied firmly. She stood between Long Chun and the Bone Dragon race leader, her stance making it clear that she wouldn't allow the latter to strike. Seeing this, the Bone Dragon race leader gritted his teeth and pointed at Long Chun. "Human brat, I swear if you can leave the dragon domain alive, I'll write my name backward." With a wave of his sleeve, the Bone Dragon race leader walked out of the palace. The other race leaders' expressions were gloomy as they watched him leave. "All right, there's no need to look so sad. This fellow is another traitor of the dragon race, so you should be thanking me. Long Chan chuckled once the bone dragon race leader was gone. What? All of them were astonished.